down to the depths of hell. You know I'm gonna make you bleed for eternity. I'm the witch. I'm the witch, bitch. You might be rich, bitch, but I'm the witch, bitch. Yeah, I'm the witch. You're gonna fucking hate this. So suck on this, bitch.
I see you moving. You're on fire tonight. I sit behind the bar and I admire the sight. What I'm feeling, baby, it ain't right or wrong. You're on a journey, honey, and I'd like to ride along. I'd like to take you out tonight, baby.
But I won't go without a fight, Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, she's got looks like you wouldn't believe. I'm sorry, boy, but she's out of your league. Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, tonight. I said she's ready to go.
We both know where this is going. I like the way that this is flowing. I'll use this music to amuse me into your bedroom, honey. I'd like to take you out tonight, baby.
But I won't go without a fight, Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, she's got looks like you wouldn't believe. I'm sorry, boy, but she's out of your league. Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, tonight she could break you. Smile, take you. So please take your cue. I'll catch you in my rear view. Oh, she's ready to go. Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, she's ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Oh, plenty more fish in the sea. This one's coming home with me. She's ready to go, ready to go, ready to go.
Forgot to turn my mic. Hello! How's everybody doing? Hi, Josh! I'm gonna go through and say hi to everybody. Let me turn the music up a little bit first. There we go. Okay, hello to Drago and Sparrow and Lessy and Josh. How y'all doing? Drago, Sparrow, Lessy, and Josh. Such a good group of people in chat. Taco, taco, taco. Fire tacos. Dude, I love that those... Like, I love that those emojis are there. Are those from your phone? Wait, I think I just realized that those are phone emojis. Am I dumb? Heck. You're in such an amazing mood! Oh my god! Josh, what put you in an amazing mood? What happened? Share the good stuff with us. Ah man. God, I'm thirsty. Also, let me know if you can hear the fan in the background. I don't think you can, but just in case. Let me know. Your Twitch rate came and you're able to invest in a laptop? Wait! Does that mean you just bought a laptop? If so, what did you buy? Oh my god, that's so exciting! What the heck? That's so exciting. Oh, what's a fan? Oh my gosh. I remember growing up, we didn't have AC, so we had fans in like every single room in the house, and we had like the oscillating fans, we had this regular like box fans, and all different types of fans everywhere in the house, right? And then like after all of those died, I never saw a fan again until recently. It was really weird. It was really weird. I don't know, man. I grew up without AC, and I actually like, I prefer the warm. It's great. I like the warm. It's the $100 renewed Chromebook, but you want a laptop so you can lay in your bed or sit on the couch and surf the web. Dude! Dude, that's still awesome! Or make music and use a browser-based music program. Nice! Dude, I don't know, even a Chromebook should still be able to run some sort of music program. I don't know of any music programs. Actually, I don't know any names of music programs, but I'm sure a Chromebook could run something like a free software of some sort. They're not that intensive, right? Dude, that's so awesome. Chromebook. Wait, is the Chromebook one that like it folds back like a tablet? Is it touchscreen too? Like, is that what a Chromebook does, or is it not all Chromebooks? I'm not well versed in the laptop world. Some of them do, yours is not. Oh, okay. And also, Sparrow, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. I'm also doing well. I just went to the doctor yesterday and all my tests came back great, apparently. I got a blood test, so I don't know if you can see it. It's like a huge bruise on my elbow right here. A tint laptop, not a tint laptop. My laptop does that. I really like my laptop actually because I take it to client meetings like for my photography, and I'm able to like push it back if I need to, or if I want to use the keyboard, I can do that. But like it's a touchscreen, and it's great for those that just like scroll through their pictures. It's so nice. 11-inch screen, not 1080p. But
Thanks
yeah,
for coming
dude.
to my stream.
Alex, hi! Thanks for coming to my stream.
Thanks for coming to my stream.
Yeah, $100 for a solid laptop that you could use to just like lay in bed and be lazy. Like, hell, I'd do that. Like, laying in bed and being lazy is like what I live for, man. That's what I did today. Laying in bed is just like amazing. I slept way too long. Yours kid too, only downside is it doesn't work after. Oh man. Oh man. Poor laptop. Poor laptop. Is the blood to sell? That's for me to know. And to you to never find out. You'll never know. Am I selling blood? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, it's right there. I can still feel it, dude. I can still feel it. What is blood, Monka? Oh my gosh. Drago. Heck. Dude, I restarted Steam like 4 times. I'm not restarting it again. Heck off. Okay. That's what I was saying. I like to watch Twitch. It takes up 90% of your day, but mobile Twitch sucks, right? Dude, mobile Twitch does suck. I hate it. I hate it so much. Alright, I think I'm gonna hop on. You know what? You know what sucks even worse about mobile? The fact that subs cost $1 more. Like, what's up with that shit? Why do subs cost a whole $1 more? It makes no sense. Mobile, oh my god, Roku. Dude, okay. So Roku Twitch, right? They took off the official app for the Roku, and so now you have to download like a third-party app called Twoku, and it's so janky. It's so janky. I used to put it on our like big screen Roku TV, and at work, like when I used to work. By the way, if you used to stream during the times of noon to 6 p.m. Eastern time, you've probably been on the big screen at my work. Just so you know. But yeah, no, that shit's so jank. So jank. Oh man. The 30% Google Apple? What? Oh. Yeah, I guess you have to pay to Apple / Google because it's an app. That's dumb as fuck. Doubt a lot of streamers that you watch have 1080p due to the settings. So, unless you're a partner, you're not technically streaming at 1080. Partners can stream at 1080, but as affiliates, you're technically, they'll technically allow you, but you're limited. Like they'll scale it down to 720, and your KBS doesn't have any effect past 5500. So yeah, it's interesting. They'll technically let you, but they won't tell you that they're scaling it back. You love Roku, but fucking Twitch are done pulling the plug, right? Right? I don't understand why they did that. Heckin' money. Thinking of Twoku makes your brain box go burr. Dude, thinking of Twoku makes me want to rip that TV off the wall and yeet it. Yeah, so nobody get partnered till you get a better laptop. Oh my gosh. When I don't have what? Dude, no, I'm not getting partnered in 2021. I'll probably never get partnered. Partner isn't a goal. It'd be nice, but it's not a goal of mine. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens, but it's not a goal. If it were, it'd be pretty unreasonable for me, honestly. Alright. Let's open up Dead by Daylight. We'll see if our friends are ready. Okay, wait. First.
Yo, what's going on, chat? How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you're all doing well, baby. Let's fucking go. Let's get in the chat.
Nani? Bro, they overlapped. That was scary. Alex, thank you so much for the bits. Jesus. But anyways, before I get on the game, the music you're hearing is from Honey Ducky. Go check out their new EP. And here are the people that we are streaming with today. First, we have LessyKBear, very good friend of our community. If I can figure out how to type words. Then we have JessicaRabbit, also a very good friend of the community. You've worked on a bunch of effects for the tomorrow stream. Oh hell yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. And then we also have ParasiteBorn. Ghost! Oh my god.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for the host, Ghost. Holy heck, I don't have an alert for host. I should do an alert for hosting and donations. I know I've said that probably for 3 months now, but yes. Anyways, how you doing, Ghost? The 3 people that we just shouted out are the 3 people that we're streaming with today for some Dead by Daylight. Jago, thank you for the host. I appreciate you. Definitely gotta jam to some Eskimo callboy. Oh god. Oh god. With matching scenes. Oh, that's gonna be amazing. Holy shit. Alright. I'm gonna pause our honey ducky music and we're gonna start the Dead by Daylight. Josh, thank you for the host. I know I love Dead by Daylight too. I'm gonna switch it. Once the game actually starts, I'm gonna switch over to the Twitch scene just so you guys can see the trailer that pops up. Cause it's so good. It's so good, dude. If the game ever pops up. Alright, we're gonna pop that down a little bit so we don't scare the shit out of everybody. Alright. This trailer, folks, is so good. Alex, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Oh my gosh.
I hope you enjoy your stay. We have lots of laughs and fun here, and no, you don't have to pay.
Oh man. You hate Pinhead? I don't know if I've ever gone against Pinhead. I haven't been playing it a whole lot recently. Dude, isn't that so good?
Run.
Heck! Thank you for the run. Alright. Please, fingers crossed it works. Cross your fingers, cross your toes. Please work. I think it's working. Oh my god. It works. Crossing the fingers and toes is definitely the way to go. Did you hear Raid Train? Bruh. Stream was short but fun. Oh my god, what did you do on your stream, Alex? Oh my god. I don't think I have Legion. Hell yeah, I finally got a Survivor one. Literally for the past, I'm not even exaggerating, the entire past year I've had nothing but killer ones. I'm not even exaggerating. Okay. This is gonna turn into a gamer chat, bruh. If it does, holy heck. I don't know if I'm ready for the chaos. You crossed your balls too, Peaches. Alex. Oh man, welcome in, Peaches. All 4 of them. Ooh woo, ooh woo. Oh man, you go see a doctor about the balls part. I don't know, man. Maybe that's normal. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to get on Discord and see if they have a game going already. Do y'all have a game going already, or should I invite everybody?
I haven't made one yet.
Okay.
Unless it's still deafened.
Alright. I'm gonna assume that she has not either. I'll just go ahead and invite y'all. Alright, I think I need to put on push to talk. Discord. Anyways, we're gonna go back to this screen for now. I just want you guys to see that little intro. It's so good. Pizza Hub! How you doing, dude? Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate you. Alright, how to put Discord and push to talk? Voice and video. Push to talk. What did I use? Oh man. Alex, thank you for the bits for the Titanic. Oh man. I still have my flute here. I can still play that. Oh man. Sandy from Mass Singer. I can do that. The bleh, 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 bleh. Think they'd hire me? Think they'd put me on Mass Singer? Be great, wouldn't it? I would absolutely win the show. I don't know if it's a contest, but I'd absolutely win if it is. Dude, all I know about that show is that what do you do? Oh, there's like the famous singers and they have like the like animal helmets on and they sing with those on and you have to guess who they are. Sandy would win, easy peasy. Dude, I'm glad you at least have faith in me. I'm glad you at least have faith in me. Oh man. The Masked Singer is about singing. Wow, mask. Go. What? No way. Wait, is that actually what it's about? I would have never guessed, actually. Masked Singer. You sing with a mask on? Like, gasp. Mind-blowing shit. You were flabbergasted, right? Like, who would have guessed? Like, I don't know, man. Seems pretty out in left field to me. Alex spoiled the show for you? Wait, hold on, that's right. Alex, how dare you? How absolutely dare you spoil that for us? Not even a spoiler alert either. Shrek wins over Farquaad in the end? Wait, does Shrek and Lord Farquaad, do they get together? Do they get together? Is this our dating? If so, heck you for spoilers again. Heck you, Alex! Oh man. Google Sharkwat? No. Josh, don't Google that. Josh, do not Google that. Keep your innocent brain. Don't Google that. Speaking of shows, finished Squid Game? Oh man, I want... Okay, at least you know what it is. Only Sandy, dude, don't leak my Only Sandy account, dude. Don't leak my Only Sandy. That's not for everybody. Oh my gosh. Shrek marries Farquaad. Fuck. Damn it, Peaches. How dare you? How dare you spoil the movie? Heck. There's Tanya Vasquez for Rule 34. You made a mistake googling. No! Why would you Google that? No! Wait, hold on. Isn't she underage too? Monka TOS. Heckin' Monka TOS. She's a child! Exactly! Monka. Monka toes. Holy heck. That should never exist. People are disgusting, dude. Disgusting. Well, I think we have one person running a tad late. And I'm not quite sure what we're doing right now. Hold on.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming to my stream.
Dude, I love that we have that on video
Thanks for coming to my
and
stream.
as a sound clip. It's so great. Leisure Suit Santa trivia. As in, like, Leisure Suit the game trivia? Santasia trivia? Or trivia about me playing the game? Because all three of those are vastly different. Vastly different. Yes. Oh man. We could do, wait. We could do 3 truths and a lie. We can do 3 truths and a lie. Hold on. What would be a good 3 truths and a lie? No! Alex, why you gamble all your points? Why you gamble all your points? The poor points. No. Alright. I gotta think of a good lie though. And some excuse me. And some good truths. Oh shit. I only got enough for one. I'm really bad at these. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Do I make an easy one or do I make a hard one? Easy one or a hard one? Okay, I got a hard one. Okay. 3 truths and a lie. So 2 of them are truths, 1 of them is a lie. You gotta figure out which one's a lie. Okay. First one, I can lick my elbow. Second one, I've never tried calamari. Third one, I've been to over 10 different countries. Which one is the lie? Damn, you got a timber score of 99. What the fuck? Number 4 is cap. True. You think the second one is a lie? You think I've tried calamari before? Imagine they're all truths. What do you think, Jago? Which one do you think is a lie? Sparrow's agreeing that the calamari is a lie. Oh, you think that I can't lick my elbow, Drago? Okay. You know, first one you follow my TikTok. This is really just calling out everybody who doesn't watch my TikToks. Oh man. Yeah. I've tried calamari, so that's the lie. Drago, this is for you, okay? I can lick my heckin' elbow. You ready? I got it. Ow. Alright. What are they saying in chat? Okay. Looks like we're almost ready, folks. We're almost ready. Do it again in slow mo. Wait, is it do the 6 foot tall? Hold up. For the TikTok. Dude. Maybe do it in slow mo for TikTok, but I feel like people would abuse that. Ew. Fried calamari with marinara sauce. I haven't tried it with marinara. I've always used whatever sauce, like that weird sauce that they bring out. It's like a creamy, almost like hint of spice, but like a little bit creamy sauce. It's really nice. You gotta ask, are you really a member of the band Kiss? Maybe. Hide. Maybe. You never know, cause they, Kiss always wears a whole bunch of face makeup to hide their identity, so you never know.
Jess is in games.
Oh, heck. Alright, I'll go ahead and invite her. JessicaRabbit.
No, like, there she is. Hi, wifey!
Hi.
How are you?
Hello!
Good. Hi, angels. How are you?
Looks like we might be
missed your
almost ready.
beautiful voice.
Do it for the vine!
I've
We're
missed
blasting
yours.
off again.
Jessica.
Title of my sex tape.
I got my new mic today.
Wait, what'd you get?
Sounds great.
What is it?
It's a HyperX Quadcast.
The S or the regular?
The regular.
Oh my god, I love the HyperX.
I mean,
The S
still welcome
was-
to the team.
Yeah, dude, I'm so I love it. But
following Alex. Go get them a follow.
the S was still out
God
of
dang it.
stock until like
Good dang it,
the end of
Alex.
the month. So I was like, nah, I'm not waiting that long.
Trev!
I'll just get the main
Hi,
one.
Trev! Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the S was out of stock when I first looked at it too, like from the very first wave, and I was able to get it on the second wave, thankfully. So nice. I love the RGBs.
So do I, but it just I wanted it so bad because I was so tired of like the crunchy-ish sound that my headset might give. Then I was tired of my chat constantly hearing my vape. And you can't hear it now with the new mic. So I'm
Oh,
just like,
nice.
yes, it's so good.
That's
It's
so
very nice.
awesome. Alright. It says I'm not able to invite Jess to our lobby.
Hang on, I think I'm
Same.
being sneaky, breaky. Hang on.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
being
just-
sneaky.
Sure. Oh, you got a shirt SM57, dude. Nice. That's so awesome. One of my friends got one too. You're still team sure until the end, dude. It's a really great mic. It's so good. That's one thing you also thought it was being a quadcast, dude. Yeah, so the snowball works fine if
Ripped my gold rank.
like if you are like working on a budget, but like if you're ever able to upgrade, I definitely suggest
And we're
upgrading
just not
to
gonna talk about how
one of
much
these
I've
type of
grinded already
mics.
since ranks reset yesterday.
And then after this type of mic, you
I'm
go
not- I
to an
wasn't gonna
even
mention it.
better one.
it's been a time.
Sorry, I
I
missed it. What's
recommend,
happening?
I recommend having D strike on. I'm gonna just put it that way. Decisive strike.
I don't know.
For what?
Whenever ranks reset, you get a lot of camping and tunneling. So D strike, when you get unhooked, and the killer takes you down and picks you up again, you can get out of his arms without wiggling. It's a skill
Gotcha.
check.
What does it look like?
It looks like a hand holding like a knife type thing, or like a stake.
Wait, sorry. What are you? What? A hand holding a stake? Oh, slippery meat. Is that what we're doing?
No, decisive
we-
strike.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
I don't
a
have
lorry perk. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lorry perk. I bought it out of the shrine a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, I don't have
Fuck,
it.
yeah, I don't have it. If at any point, you lovely beings, if you decide that you want to have a fifth, I probably have a couple of people that could join, as I'm sure all of you do. But just letting you know.
Yeah, Leslie, do you want to learn from real games or do you want to learn in customs?
Custom, please.
Alright, so
Customs.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I've got
I
someone ready.
actually.
I've got
I
someone
just
ready to
had
go.
somebody ask if we had 4.
Gotcha. I mean, whoever you guys want to invite, I'm cool with, as long as they're cool being on stream and they're good peoples.
Yeah, he's good. It's Lessie knows him.
Who?
Travi.
Travi?
Travi?
Travi.
Travi?
Travi? Who's Travi?
Oh, you don't know him. Okay.
Yeah, that was Travi.
Hang on, I'll send him. Is that
Oh,
okay
man.
with the two of you as well?
You
Is
think
that
if you
alright?
upgrade, you're gonna go the Shure
Yeah, that's fine.
SM7B?
He's a good egg, I
Ooh.
promise.
Shure is really, really good too. And
The
before
way I
Sage
basically
temperature
put
12
it, Jess, is if
12
you
years old
trust them to
high-pitched
be on your
voice?
stream, I have no issues with them being online.
Heck!
Yeah,
Dude, yeah.
that's usually
no,
my
Alex,
thing too.
me and you can both do the baby voice together in person. It'd be great. Perfect. You got the same mic?
I'm just
Let's
gonna have
go,
to invite
Trev.
him to your Discord,
Let's
Santi. Is
go.
that's okay?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Trev, Lessie also has this mic. Lessie also has this mic too. Too many people know you won't be able to say that it's cap. Bruh. Bruh. Just go to the chase with the mics. Wait. Oh, just like full upgrade? Yeah, do it, dude. You wanna meet the poutine boy? I know, right? Everyone wants to meet the poutine boy. Thank you. Appreciate. Actually, 12-year-old face cam. Oh, hi, girlfriend, by the way. What's up? There's really convincing VTuber setup? Bruh. Dude, it's okay. It's okay. If Alex is 12, that means I'm 5. It's fine. It's fine. S57 is mostly a recording mic for guitar, snares, and singing vocals, streaming on it because you had it. Hey, if it works, it works. It sounds real good, dude. You're expecting Frosty. Wait, Frosty, what's Frosty? Like Frosty the Snowman? It's really good, you like it a lot. Dude, right? I love this mic. I like it a lot. It took me a little while to like kind of hone it in on the Discord.
Alright, he said he's
not
trying
Discord,
to join the Discord.
on the OBS side, but yeah. After I got that working, it was great.
Oh, does that mean we should set up a custom lobby, or are we already in one?
Yeah, probably custom.
True.
So I guess we back out of
He
this.
said he has to do some stuff.
Oh, the chant.
So what the
So
wow, he's gonna have a fun time, isn't he?
Oh
Alright, so we do a normal game or something, I guess?
yeah. Wait. Are
I
we
think,
doing? We can do custom with 4 people, right?
I think if it's saying I don't have permission.
I am.
What's
not-
happening?
Like, did I get invited? Ooh.
You don't have permission for what?
Travis just saying that it said Discord says he doesn't have permission to speak.
Yeah. So he needs to go to roles and get a
Did
role.
he accept the thingy? Oh, there's the invite. The in the like entrance. Did he accept the rules?
Did you accept the rules,
He
Travis?
didn't accept them in mine. I had to manually give him permission.
What a pain in the ass he is.
Really though.
I just
He
realized
says he did.
I've been trying to do this whole time without actually pressing my push to talk. So did he actually like react to it?
The rules
He says he did.
Alright, hold on, let me check.
He did, yeah.
Oh, there it goes. He's on it now.
There we go. We got him.
Hello.
At all.
Hello, Travis.
I figured
Hello.
it out. I'm smart.
Proud of
I
you.
didn't need.
Good job, buddy. Proud of you.
Thanks.
You sound so proud of
Bruh.
So,
He-
do
are
you
you
also
ge- are
stream?
you- He does.
Yep.
He does.
Can you yeet your stream link for me?
Does that
Who?
mean I have to add him to the
You.
command too?
What am I eating at?
Frosty.
Oh my god. Just hang on a
You
sec.
just
I'll do it.
say
I'll
no.
do it. I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Frosty's a streamer friend of Jessica. He is hilarious while playing as Killer. Oh, he has voice
didn't
acting
work for me,
chops?
Jess.
Dude, nice.
No, because you're not a moderator, Travis.
That's
Oh, I
awesome.
see how B. Who's a moderator in my channel?
Me, because I'm good at it.
Oh,
And I
There you
absolutely
go.
forced you into it.
Damn.
mod abuse. Mod abuse. Mod
So,
The weird robots
Travi, do I
customs.
have
I
my
know,
TV
right?
command yet?
abuse. I haven't added any commands. I've been fixing it up to make it look spoopy.
Alright, guys. So, we also
Oh,
now
so
have
okay.
Travi
Spoopy
playing with
boy.
us. So, here's our 5th person.
Alright, who's gonna be killer first?
Never been a killer.
Jess doesn't like when I'm killer.
Nope, I don't. You're correct.
Oh, real quick. Travis or Travi? Which one do you prefer?
It's actually Thomas.
No,
Oh,
it's just
Okay.
Travis. Why ignore him?
Okay. Oh god, do you want me to call you Travi or Thomas?
Probably Timberland.
No,
All
stop
right,
being
all
annoying.
right.
She's being serious.
Travi. It's Travi. It's Travi.
Travi, okay. Call you Travi.
I got
And-
you.
What's your pronouns?
He, him.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Him.
He, him. Hang on. I'm tabbing people.
You're tabbing people?
Yes.
Sounds violent, Travi. I don't
It
think you should
does,
be doing
yeah.
that.
It's, yeah.
Get tabbed.
Big
Alright.
stop.
Who wants to do killer
You
first?
missed the E, and you spelled tabbed wrong. Get wrecked.
I'm done. I'm
I'm
He just got here
good.
and he's done.
I'm good with not being a killer first.
I'm also good with not being killer first. Help,
How do I switch to killer?
of course.
How do you switch to kill it? You see on the left-hand side there'll be an eyeball, and then there'll be a skull.
Ah.
There you go.
Rawr. I don't know how to do this, but wish me
Please
luck.
don't say that to me.
What? I'm a good boy.
No.
Oh,
How do I
who's
switch killers?
detective? What? Oh god.
No clue.
I have too many people unlocked.
Top left, it'll
got you.
be. There you go.
I don't know who to be.
Hmm.
They all.
And then right under that is your loadout, so that's how you pick all your perks. And because it's a custom lobby, everything is unlocked to you.
Literally everything. Yeah.
So nice.
Do you want to give him a little beginner's perks pack, Para? I trust you to do it.
You want a beginner's perks pack, or do you want my beginner's perks pack?
He'll want to be as trolly as possible.
I'm a little trolley boy.
He's a little trolley boy.
Take it easy on me. I am just learning the game.
Me too.
Okay, I'll give you
Okay,
some
good.
standard perks that people tend to run.
Okay.
Barbecue and chili.
Oh
Hex
no.
ruin.
Oh no.
I'm hungry now.
Wait, so hang on. Wait. Barbecue.
Barbecue and
and
it's in
chili.
alphabetical order. So barbecue and
Yes.
chili. Hex ruin. Fuck me.
I mean, if you're asking.
A B C D E
Right.
F G H. I got it.
A B C D.
There's so many perks. Shh. Wait, hex and hex ruin? Did you say?
Yes.
Yep, hex ruin. You say hex devour hope, I'm going to be very upset with you.
No, I'm not putting Devour Hope on there.
Thank God.
Spies from the Shadows.
URS. Yep.
Alright,
Wait,
I'm gonna
it
switch
went
over to the
down.
game now so
Yeah.
you guys can see what we're doing. So here's all of
Okay,
our
we got-
folks that we got.
Figured.
Here's all the folks that we got now.
Unrelenting
Also, I got
Strike.
foods. No.
Or Unrelenting, I don't remember the whole...
Fuck is that?
When you miss an attack,
nom.
it means you have recovery faster after it.
Alrighty.
Okay.
That's
He's
this,
going to bring a Mori. I feel it.
that, or
Oh.
instead of that, you could do Sloppy Butcher. That's a pretty standard run perk.
Floppy butcher. Wait, what's the best killer from the start? Huntress, Trapper, Wraith, Hillbilly, Nurse.
The easy one.
Nurse is tough
survive.
to...
Nurse is really hard.
like-
I wouldn't do Nurse.
Just gonna go Trapper then.
Trapper or Wraith, I think, are very beginner friendly.
I think you'll like Huntress eventually, because she's like fucking FPS.
Mmm.
You just throw fucking hatchets at people's heads.
She's fun.
Wait. Hear me out, Wraith, because we usually play Phasmophobia.
Ah.
But I'm ass.
I also like Bing Bong Boy. He's good. He's fun.
Bing Bong Boy?
Bing Bong Boy. I don't
That's
know his
Wraith.
actual
Bing
name.
Bong Ding Dong Anywhere.
Wraith is
Home?
Bing Bong.
Wraith is Bing Bong? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wraith is Bing
Yeah.
Bong.
Like, I never actually knew his real name.
I call him Ding Dong. Bing Bong Ding Dong.
Anywhere Home?
Same thing.
I was gonna say
I'd
that
be
too.
down to call Travi a Ding Dong too, so that's fine.
So,
Finger boy.
so
The
Leslie,
ding
whenever
dong
you're
is a ding
ready,
dong.
you can go ahead and hit that ready up button in the bottom right hand corner. There you go.
I forgot that existed. I'm used to Valorant, okay? No ready up. Just party leader. Go.
Agree. I'm always the last to ready up in Faz.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy
know.
stacking.
Jeez.
I lost all of my money playing Faz today, and I was kind of sad about it.
Uninstall.
That's just plays Trigger Mommy for me. I enjoy it.
No sweaty business, okay?
I've
We're gonna go
literally
easy on-
played this game once before, and I wasn't explained how to play it, so
Oh wait, you said no sweaty business? I should have changed my loadout.
Ooh.
I'm running my standard build.
So Para knows what they're doing. Para knows what they're doing.
I have over 500 hours in the game already.
Hot damn.
Yeah, I've got 20. Uh-huh.
I have 0. Let's go.
Fucking ruin.
I don't even
It's
know the
okay,
controls
Jess.
for this game.
I'm running in her strength.
Basically, all you need to do is make sure that you work on generators. Oh shit, nope. Work on generators, and then once we have all 5 generators done, we can open the gates.
Okay.
Goal is to do generators and then escape.
No.
Why do I feel so slow?
I forgot.
How did I pick you up?
Skill
I
checks were
don't know,
there.
actually.
Oh, space. Gotcha.
Oh, I hate you.
Are you talking to him because you created this?
I didn't tell him what add-ons to make.
Wait, I went in my own trap. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
Well, it does.
Yeah, you can absolutely step in your own traps. And it makes me giggle very, very hard when you do.
I did it, guys.
Uh,
Okay, why? This is not fair.
yes!
There we go.
What
I got you. We're good.
Yeah, so
Let's
good.
find a hook. I think this hook's got your name on it.
How dare. How absolutely dare. Bruh, toxicity.
Little toxic boy.
Little toxic boy.
I thought we knew this already, though.
We? You're back on mobile due to sleeping in your attic for the AC? Wait, you're sleeping in the attic? Is it at least comfy up there? But you brought your Xbox up to play some games? Nice! How long is the update?
Go.
Go, go, go! Stop it. Stop it.
Where is he?
Where the
No,
fuck?
no, no!
Nothing.
I'm not tunneling. I don't know where the fuck anybody is. I got no spatial awareness in this game.
I think I
Well,
know!
that's tunneling. You just hooked her
How
down.
ya
She just got off the
doing?
hook.
How's Ohio treating you?
Oh.
Not too long, that's good at least. I'm so glad you don't have to like constantly smash the
Oh.
space bar
Shit,
anymore.
thank
Go
God.
away. Ah!
You guys are all here.
No!
No,
Wait.
no. Everything's fine.
Wait,
Everything's
what's
fine.
happening?
Go.
Oh,
Ow! Unnecessary!
run!
Same, dude.
Thank you for the alert, Josh. I appreciate you. Yeah, a very comfy couch.
Wow,
Nice.
classic you.
At least it's
honestly.
comfy up there.
Oh! Oh!
What are you gonna
Thank you, I love
play?
you.
Oh, you said lurk. Never mind.
Get back here, Jess.
No!
Jessica.
They're finally thinking of
Jessica.
allowing Maple
Jessica.
Boys
Yeah!
inside
Jessica.
Freedom Land. Bruh,
Suck my ass!
nice.
Suck my ass, Parasboro time, tee-hee!
Does that mean you could come visit
You're not supposed
us
to do this,
too?
you know. Like, literally, you're not supposed to do this.
Where's
Who
the-
says?
Oh wait, that's already.
The game, it's poor form. You get reported for this shit.
For what? Playing the game?
Facts.
For tunneling.
I'm not tunneling.
You,
I've
you
hooked
obviously
two
don't know
people.
what tunneling is.
I've hooked 2 people, Jess.
Yeah, but if someone just gets unhooked, you're not supposed to just go after them.
I've done that to me in games.
Well, that's terrible, but that doesn't mean you should do it to us.
You need a void pass. I know.
Right.
I
thought-
need to
where's
the heck
find
happened
mine.
here?
I think mine is
Suck it.
valid again,
Oh, I'm just gonna tunnel you more.
but I'm not
I
sure.
knew it.
Might not
I
be.
knew this would happen.
Here, Jess. I
Here,
got you,
Jess.
baby.
Oh, I
Oh,
just stood in my own
no.
trap.
Leave
right.
Jess alone. Heck
Yeah,
and
leave Jess
meanie.
alone.
Heck and meanie.
Yeah, you bitch. Farah's gonna bully him now.
Do it.
Bully me. I
Come on,
like it.
big boy. Let's go for a ride.
Wow, side shaming me? Damn.
Thanks for keeping him busy. Thank you, thank you.
Nicely done.
Oh no, don't come over here.
I'm a
Don't come over
smart
here.
boy.
Don't Don't come over here.
Damn, you wiggly girl.
Poggers.
Poggers.
We're good.
You're still here. How's Ohio? How's the new place, dude?
I don't have a trap.
That's terrible news.
Downright disgusting.
Don't worry, I got one, guys. We're good. I can't put
Look
it down.
at you,
We
you're
go, go.
heckin' nasty,
You can't
dude.
put it within a certain area of the hook.
I got you.
There's a hook slightly to my left. Or be careful, be careful, be careful. Okay.
I saw it.
Counts.
Listen to that.
Giggle!
Oh my god.
So
I'm
proud of
having
you.
so much fun, dude.
Oh god. You created a monster, Para.
Oh,
Look,
no.
this was a tame perk build, and you know that, Jess.
I do. That's what's scary.
Oh,
Leslie,
hello.
damn!
You saw
Leslie,
nothing.
don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!
You saw nothing.
Yeah, Leslie, don't do that, because then you get to second hook really fast. Stop camping the hook! Go away! Go! Go! Leslie, go! Oh my god, tunneling again.
I was trying to
He's
get
never-
you.
Wow.
never been
what a
killer again.
jerk.
He's
What
bad.
a-
What are you talking
what a
about?
jerk. Jesus.
Toxic, toxic.
I went away to check a different generator.
Yeah, then he came right back. You go away.
Just
You
like
go,
you
you
very
go.
much.
Go away. Go away. Wow.
Go. Run, Leslie, run, go.
Wait. Hang on. I
Goodbye,
think there was, like-
everybody. I'll see you later.
Wait, is there only one generator left to go?
Yep, it sure is.
That's so cool.
It was nice knowing you.
So cool.
It's a lot of working, but it's good for you at the same time. That's good, though. That's good to hear. Wait, a lot of working. What are you doing now? If you're able to. It's okay. Avenge me. Avenge me. What are you doing now? Alright, I need to change my mic settings, I think.
I'll take you on a
Because
trip in
push
my
to talk
favorite
is
rocket
not
ship.
working. It's not cutting it for me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Messi.
Let's see.
I dislike you very much.
Keybinds. Let's do.
Ooh, you left her slugged.
mute
That's wow.
and
He's
unmute. Is there a
oh
toggle
my
mute?
god.
Who's tunneling?
Where's
You-
the toggle?
Not this
that's
boy.
toxic, bro.
And
Toggle
weirdly,
mute.
So
the
toxic.
devs are about to change that, by the way.
What?
Weirdly said tunneling is allowed in the game and is not a reportable offense. They're going to make it
How
one.
do I fix
Good.
this?
Wait, how do I drop someone?
R.
Ah, there we go. Toggle mute.
There you go.
What are you ditching Leslie for? She can't do anything.
Because of
He's
this?
getting- He's mooring her.
That's filthy.
I don't know. It came off as a prompt. What's that mean?
Perfect. Okay, there we go. Toggle
you've
mute is
killed her
great. Toggle
by
mute is
not-
great.
She did. By not
Yeah, you
hooking
didn't
her.
sacrifice her.
Long hair stuff, but you like it? Dude,
Dude,
some people really enjoy like
Para's
lawn
good.
care and like was it
The
landscaping and
hell
stuff?
did that hit me?
What kind of lawn care? Like is it
I'm
just
Australian.
mowing and like feeding and stuff, or do you do like landscaping and stuff too?
Para.
Are you a creative
My own
boy?
trap, dude.
Good. Suck it. All right, we're good. We're so fine. This is super fine.
You reset it?
Less fine. Less fine. Less fine.
We're still good.
I may have accidentally like left them to continue.
Also,
so I
guys,
can
look.
continue.
Look at my
Oopsies.
bowl.
Wait, do I pick
Hey
up a trap?
Jess.
Isn't
Hey
it super
Jess, baby,
cute?
can you do me a favor and go ahead and open that door and leave?
Okay.
Yes, baby.
Don't call me that.
Freaking love this bowl.
But only
Oh,
Para
sorry.
can call me that.
Freaking love this bowl.
She's my wife.
My wife.
My wife. One of my 7 wives, but yes, still my wife. You know, if you could just fuck off.
No.
Why?
Why? Do you want me to let you escape?
Yes.
You didn't say please, and you've been nasty to me this whole game.
What? I've been nasty to you?
Yep, you're like, Travis, you're a little tunneler. And I'm like, I don't know, this is my first game, dude. Getting weirdly competitive, Jess.
Me?
Yes.
You fucking piece of shit.
What's
Why did I
happening?
not look? I'm so dumb.
Oh, Jess, that's a trap.
Yes, I know that now.
It's a
You
trap.
get off my trap card.
No, it's just a trap. It's not a trap card. Are you
Jess,
kidding
you
me?
know
How
you
many
should
times do I have to...
always-
Okay. Well,
You know
this
you
door-
should always look at the door for a trap.
I know. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I let you down. I let you down, wifey.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have looked either. Hmm. What do you think, Trap? They gotta escape? We got Para. We got Jess.
Yeah.
Are they gonna get out?
But is it? Is there only Jess left?
Yeah.
Jokes?
Wait, is she
Go on,
gonna...
Jess.
Don't tunnel me!
What do I...
It's not just me left. I lied. If it was just me left, I would have.
Oh,
my god!
No!
I can't save you from that again, Jess.
He's already doing the head shaking thing. He's like. No!
I think he's lied to us.
Wow.
I think he's played this too many times before.
Para?
I knew exactly where that was. So I was like, hey, can you open that door and leave?
Oh
I
no.
fucking tried. But tunneling Travie wasn't having it, you know?
I got 3 kills. How is that tunneling?
We should teach...
Because you tunneled! You
Oh my gosh.
What are you meant to do? Go get one hit on
Yeah.
everyone and then...
No, it's
You
just like
hook
for the
different
hooks.
people. It doesn't matter, like, hitting, that's fine. It's all about the hooking.
I'm pretty sure I never hooked 2 people in a
What
row.
the heck?
You hooked me twice.
Poggers!
What the
We're
fuck?
playing
Yeah.
Dead by
Twice,
Daylight.
with Santi and Lessie.
They're fighting over being tunneling or
With
not.
Messi, I apologize because she was just like not sprinting
Oh
and
my
walking around in
God,
the
hold on.
middle.
I'll be right back, guys.
Mm.
Anyways, how y'all doing? Thank you, Berg, for the raid. I appreciate it. Hello to Berg. Hello to Koto. How ya doing? Let's see. Berg was playing Metroid. Is this your second time or third time playing it? I want to say it's the second time. How is Metroid going? That's the one that just came out, right? How's it goes Dead by Daylight? We're just playing customs.
Huzzah!
Well, no, I know. Okay, let me rephrase that. Your second or third stream of it, not playthrough. My bad. Wrong wording. Wrong wording. But yeah, Dead by Daylight. We're just doing customs. With some friends. We got Lessie. We got JessicaRabbit. We got Travie, and we got ParasiteBorn. Oh, I need to update my title. Oh my god, Lulu! Lulu, hello! I'm so sorry. We have a bot right now that if your account is too early or too young, that you have to put in a code. So I'm sorry for the timeout. Hold on. Let me fix it. So there's a capture you guys have to do if you have a young account. I'm so sorry. How do you untime out? How does it untime out? Did they even get timed out? I don't think they even got timed out. I don't think they did that. Alright. But it's not even an unban.
So much for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. But yeah, so we have a bot that makes you do a CAPTCHA if you have a young account, just because we have bots that are not nice. So if you see that, then make sure you put in the little CAPTCHA code. I'm sorry that happened to you, but we have you on the whitelist now, so you should be good. But welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid, Lulu. How was your stream? Let me see. We also have Lemon, welcome in. We have Squirtle, welcome in. Melissa, it's just your doing. Welcome in, Melissa. Killer Bay, welcome in. And Lulu, how was your stream? How was your stream? Let's see if we can do a little shout out for you. Play some Five Nights? Nice. And there was some words on stream. Dude, Freddy's is fun. Freddy's is super fun. Saw your live, stop by and say hello. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I also don't have, oh there it is, I found it. Thank you for the follow, Lemon, I appreciate you. You have the same chair? Oh my god, the KDA one? I love the KDA chair so much. It's so comfy. It's so comfy. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's super duper comfy. But yeah, Berg, thank you for the raid, and Lila, thank you for the raid. I appreciate you both, and I hope you both had good streams. We're just playing some Dead by Daylight customs right now because we're teaching Lessy how to play, and yeah, it's our first ever time playing it. We just played one game with all of our friends. We have LessyKBear, JessicaRabbit, Travi, and ParasiteBorn. So those are all my friends. Can't give up on the super cute colors. Right. So I was originally looking at like the original KDA one, like the purple one, and I was like, I'm super torn in getting it because I told myself I was never gonna get one of these chairs, but I ended up getting it anyway. Well, I ended up getting one anyways, but I waited until this one came out because when the All Out one came out, dude, I freaking loved it so much. I loved it so much when that came out, and I had to get it. And then Logitech came out with their KDA line of gear, so I got, let's see if you can see it. I got the KDA headset, right? And I got the KDA keyboard, which I can't show you right now because it's on my desk. But I got the KDA keyboard and the headset, and I had already had from the Riot store the KDA desk mat. So that's not the Logitech one, but it's the official Riot one. So I have like a whole KDA setup. I might be a little obsessed. I also have the what was I gonna say? Oh, the cosplay for All Out Akali and the regular KDA Akali too. It's super awesome. Ari's your girl, dude. Ari's so pretty. The KDA Ari's, both of them are so pretty. I think I'll read through. Y'all guys send me the chair recommendations because your chair sucks, dude. Okay, so Melissa, if you want to go for comfy as well as pretty, Secret Lab chairs have always been like a staple of the gaming industry. You are paying for their brand though. That's the only downside to getting a Secret Lab chair. They are pretty pricey. But if you're looking for something that's super duper comfy but like more cost efficient, get an office chair, like an ergonomic office chair, like one of those ones that have like the high back and all the padding on them. They're really, really great. That's what I had before. It's just mine started peeling, so I had to get a new one. Have fun. Oh, thank you, Killer. I appreciate it. Hello, bad girl. How you doing? Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start the game again and unmute myself with Discord.
Yeah.
Alright, sorry about that. I got 2 raids at once.
Nice.
Heck yes, Auntie.
I was a little overwhelmed. So, alright, we good. We Gucci.
I'll apologize in advance for what I'm running, Santasia.
Yep.
Oh no,
Yeah.
what did you do?
It's nice that Santasia
Look,
gets an
just-
apology.
just-
I see.
What did you do?
I
It's bad.
apologize to you too, Jess.
It's bad.
I'm scared.
Santy,
That
just
looks
go
amazing.
look
I
at
know,
the
right?
Discord chat.
I
It's bad.
I absolutely love my cosplays. And if you want to see it, I think I posted one on my Instagram, a picture of I think both of them are on my Instagram maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember if they're both on there, but I think like my original Katie Collie is on there. It changed your gaming experience to be dramatic. Yeah, right? Like having a good chair is amazing. Yo, Para, why? Why? Why is that? Why? Why is that a thing? Is that legal?
No.
Is that legal?
Oh, it absolutely is.
Oh man.
I
Lulu.
had a gunslinger or death slinger run that against me.
If you want to follow me on other things too, I also have Hover.
The third or the last perk listed.
If you want to sign up for Hover, I have a code, which if you click on that link, it should automatically put in the code for you, but that's the code too. Hover is like TikTok, but for gamers. And I have found that it helps you grow a lot more too, if you're a streamer too. So you can post your gaming and streaming clips on there, and people who are on the app can watch your clips, and it has a button right on the clip and on your profile to immediately take you to your Twitch account. So if you find somebody you like on there, you can immediately go to their Twitch account. It's so nice. I love Hover. I've noticed a lot of growth from Hover too. And I'm not like, this is not like an ad or anything. I don't get paid from them. The code, all it does is it has you follow me. That's all it does. And then that way I know which of my friends have like gotten the app, and then once you follow me, I get a notification for it and I can follow you back. That's all it does. That's all the code does. Yeah, Hover is such a great app. I've had a lot of fun on it. Oh, also, this is the best part. Again, not affiliated with them, not an ad or anything. I just really love the app. They have challenges. Weekly challenges, usually multiple a week,
give you a good
that you can enter your clips into, and if the judges pick your clip as part of the top 16, they play your clip on stream, and they put it into a bracket, and if you make top 4 of that top 16 bracket, you get monies. I have gotten 2nd place in one of their contests so far. I think 2nd place was $50. Like, first is 100. 2nd is 50, and 3rd and 4th are 25, I think.
You're good.
Yeah, it's really nice. And they're great people too. So like you're supporting some really cool people as well.
Runes all over the ground.
Do you know how to run? Shift. There you go.
Bruh. Okay. Wait, who is this? Is this Lessie? Yeah, you're Lessie. Okay. Hi, Kate! How are you doing? How is it going, Kate?
Still haven't gotten around to.
Good teamwork, guys.
Wait, what the fuck?
Oh,
You went.
man.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh my god. I'm off to fuck myself. See you later.
That's so good.
Have fun, at least.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Did I do something good for a second?
Jess, baby, come here.
No, I don't want to. No, touching. No touching.
Oh no.
Here.
Touchy.
Yeah, no problem, Lulu.
Here.
No, thank
You
you.
made your questions? Yeah, if you have any
where the fuck did you
questions,
go?
feel free to either ask me on here or through Discord.
I legitimately lost you.
If you type in Discord in the chat, you'll get the Discord invite link if you want to join that.
That's the coolest
Oh
thing I've ever
my god!
done.
Oh my god, did
Everyone
you
write it
see
down.
that? I literally
scribbling.
just shoved this in her
I'm writing it
face
down, I'm writing
and
it
she
down.
just ran from me. Oh my god. But yeah. If you type Discord in the chat, it'll bring up a link for the Discord if you would prefer to talk on there. One thing I will say is, as of right now, which it's in beta, But so they're still
Wiggle?
adding features and working on things.
wanna
And the
always wiggle.
website is in alpha.
Oh my god.
So
the hag
if
gets
you
so thrown off by people wiggling.
you
Oh
want to
my
upload
god.
clips from
She's
your
only
computer,
small, you know?
you could upload
Makes
them
sense,
to the
I guess.
cloud, but you are only able to upload them from your phone right now.
It's kind of insane though. Like I was going all over the place.
So you can upload clips to the cloud from like both your phone and the computer, but posting, there we go, that's the right word. Posting them to the actual app has to be on your phone right now, but they're adding it to where you can post from your phone.
Hi, Jess.
Website too,
No,
eventually.
it's not me. No,
Doing
I'm
well,
sorry,
how am I?
I didn't
I'm
see
doing
you.
alright. I'm doing much better
no
right now,
touching.
actually.
No, ban, no.
Life has been so crazy, but it's getting a lot
Bad
better.
touch. Oh my god.
Bad
Fuck.
touch.
Okay, this is fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. We're fine. I'm fine. This is super fine. I'm absolutely super fine with this. This is good. This
Is
what
it
I
is
want.
it fine?
It's you know what it is.
Oh, alright. Heck, I forgot they blocked off these doors. Why? Oh god. Oh god.
No. No.
Ooh, nice stun, Jess.
Thank you. She's not camp. She wasn't camping. That's entirely my fault. I was fucking around over there.
Uh.
Oh, fuck me.
Sorry, I got lost. I got lost in the school, so I'm sorry you got your second mark. Eh.
Hi, baby.
How you doing, Kate?
You know, Jess, my love, you've been very, very naughty. You get this one.
Dude, basement hooked her? What the
You
fuck?
already hooked me?
Dude.
Oh my god, dude.
How
I
dare?
thought we were married.
We are. You've been a naughty
wrong.
little girl. You need a punishment. I'll leave you alone.
Oh man. No, don't do it! Don't do it, Jess! Jess, no!
Careful, there's a if anyone comes in here, there's a thing at the oh.
There's a
There's
thing
a
at the
thing at
O.
Hello.
Oh, I don't even care,
Travi,
dude.
no!
I got
Hang
you.
on, go in front. No! Oh,
No, run.
I'm running. Go,
Take
go,
this.
get out, go!
Save yourselves, ladies.
What hook are you
Oh,
on?
okay.
Can be
Hello.
What,
I don't know.
Travi, what hook are you on?
Second.
Second.
Hook me.
Like this would be death hook.
This would be Death Hook. Yeah.
Aw.
I could be your hero.
You can get him
I'm a
up.
slug. I'm a slug. I'm a little baby.
Go ahead
I'm a
and go
little
get him
baby.
up.
I don't know how to walk. I'm a little
Aw.
baby. I'll
He's
start recovering
crawling.
too. Oh. Thank you, Santa.
Santa!
You're welcome. Yeah, that's why I was always being. Oh shit. That's why I was always called when I was growing up.
Oh,
Santa?
fuck me!
Yeah. Because my name has been Santasia on like every single game ever since I can remember.
Woo.
Oh, you want me
Oh.
healed?
Fuck!
Forgot I could do
I
that.
thought I was the knight. It turns out I was not.
You're the day.
I really was.
I hate
Oh,
trying to
man.
see scratch marks through the grass. It's fucking impossible, dude.
It's the best,
can't-
isn't
I
it?
can't-
Woo. Bright as rain. Thanks, Doc.
We speedy.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Got this.
I'm shit at skill checks.
It's alright, because Jess is the bait.
Huh? When did that happen? When did this? I didn't agree to this.
Messi, if you're still on that gen run.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Unfortunate that she went your way. Oh, well, I thought she
Oh
was
my
still
god, I
chasing me.
almost got it. God damn it.
I wish I had a
You got
flashlight.
dreadlocks, dude.
Yeah.
Alexis? How's it going?
Why did that work?
Alexis, how are you, Alexis?
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah,
forgot
like-
to mute.
Oh,
I'm
oops.
kidding!
Oops.
I'm kidding!
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, it's cute. Don't worry about it.
No, run.
Lessy, you can get him up.
Are we getting him up?
How dare? How absolutely
Yeah.
dare?
I
Oh,
haven't hooked Santa yet.
Ooh, stab me
So
more.
it's-
Licking the
Sandy's turn.
fingies is just a bit much, isn't it?
pretty good. Just finished a Slime
I don't
Rancher?
like them. I
Oh, what was that? That was
just blood
Nice.
in my mouth. It's fine.
How is Slime
Because I
Rancher?
have this cute little med kit.
I love Slime Rancher. I've been playing
It's like
that
Viva
a
Pinata.
lot lately. Cool.
She's gonna come.
She put a little
Don't
thingy
come.
at the bottom of the
Don't
stairs.
come.
Fucking shut up.
I'm gonna come.
Shut up! Oh,
but
God.
yeah. How far are you in Slime Rancher? Like, I've never gotten that far.
You
Because this is the
deserve
farthest
to
I've
say what
ever
you just said.
gotten. And I just
Buried
unlocked a
myself.
little,
What
like, racetrack thing.
Ew.
The little silver slimes. They're super cute.
What did you just do? You like teleported. That was cool.
Yeah, when the hag will draw like these little rune things on the ground.
Yeah.
Ooh, nicely done, Jess.
Thank you! I'm so
There's-
bad at Survivor.
There's one at the bottom of
Alright.
the stairs.
Yeah, you guys need to get Santasia.
I'm coming.
She's already on second hook. You need
alright.
to crouch.
Oh, it's okay. You're about to go down there and join her.
Oh God, I'm coming. Uh-oh.
I'm so
No.
scared.
Oh no. Heck. 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 Heck.
Wait.
Goodbye, Jess.
Surprise.
Hi.
Cool.
All
First one,
right,
love that.
all right.
Love that.
Oh, stab me, daddy.
Well, I'm mommy, not daddy, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Those
Mommy,
Thank you,
sorry.
thank you.
Mommy?
very phallic.
This has skill checks too, just so you know.
Yeah.
Look at us doing infinite cardio, Jess. That's crazy.
So wait, the hatch would be
That is how.
visible right now, right?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, hatch is visible right now.
Damn it.
I
It's
can
alright.
attempt. I can attempt to help you guys find it if you'd like.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Oh hey. You
So
guys
Leslie,
are
when three
really
people
close
die,
to it.
hatch spawns.
But you know where we are? Oh yeah, never mind. You do know where we are.
I was like, you guys failed skill checks. Yes, I know where you are.
Very close to it, apparently.
I hate this. I hate this!
Dodum.
Why
See
do I have
on
feeling it's in
Leslie's tail.
here?
Alright. Leslie, come here.
Yes. No.
I'm
I
gonna,
feel
I'm
like
gonna
it's in
teach you how to
here.
better run a killer. Come here.
Because they're always faster than you. They can't run in straight lines.
God! That scared the shit out of me. What the fuck?
Gotta like loop through the toys.
So, what you would have
Just unlock
done
the workshop where you catch glitch slimes? I don't
is
know
when
what
you turn
that
this
is.
corner, you
Or
run
what those
here,
are.
Vault this.
Okay.
That's how early I
Because
am, I
you
guess.
vault quicker than killers do. So
Oh,
you'd
shit.
vault that. I'd have to run around. And then with that, you could run into this loop here. Right here.
Okay. I'm still looking for the hatch.
And if I were to come here,
Oh fuck.
You're gonna
you'd
come.
want to
She
be
said
on
we
the
were
other
really
side of it.
close
But
to
yes,
it.
Yeah.
Travis.
ideas there.
Sorry, that meme's in my head now. The kitty put it there.
Very curious as to where this
Keep
hatch
going.
is.
this
Very
pallet here.
curious.
There's a pallet right in front of you.
No!
It's right, Lessie. I made the same mistake.
It still happens.
So,
To
question:
me. All right,
were
come
they glitch
downstairs.
slimes?
There's another pallet down here. And
Do you
the
do you
pallet
like
down
get
here
to
is a very
keep
good
those
pallet.
and like put them in?
Actually, there's another one right here.
Put them in your
Yeah, it's made out of good wood,
your
huh?
farm, ranch or whatever.
So
Travis.
Or is that
throw it
just
on
like
that
another
side.
little mini game type thing?
There you go.
So you stunned her.
So that
And
gives
then
you a
with
couple of
this
seconds
pallet-
to run and get a head start, kind of
Where's
thing.
the other
when you're
pallet?
Yep. It's down here.
We're gonna repair it. We're gonna repair it.
Is that Freddy's like boiler room?
Where is the wood down here? Right here.
I know exactly what he was laughing at. Oh my gosh. Silly.
Those pallets are what's known as
Silly.
God pallets.
Wait, what do you mean God pallets?
God pallets are the pallets that killers can't go around.
Oh.
So like the one in Killer Shack, always a God pallet. This map has the most of them because there's 2 in preschool typically.
Gotcha.
It is live.
So the way they work is you see how like... Can you guys spectate the killer right now? I don't think you can.
Us, no.
Okay. This green car by the ambulance with the trash cans that has a pallet between it right next to the hook.
Mm-hmm.
This is a standard pallet, and it's a decent loop, but it's not the best. But preschool in general typically has really good loops, but they're long. So against somebody like Michael or Ghostface, they're not that great.
Gotcha.
But that's because they can stalk you in the long hallways and you're kind of SOL.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Mm.
Can you not?
Hi,
No,
Sandy.
no.
Oh, this pallet! This is the one I was talking about!
Yeah.
See, instead of running away, you should have continued to run the loop.
But, fun. God, oh, how? How did you get me over that?
Oh, they do that. They can do that.
Yeah,
But I was already on the other side. I'm confused.
Scary.
it's all about timing.
Bruh. Got Mr. Gadget arms, like go Gadget.
Oh jeez.
Oh,
Go
you think
away,
Hag
Go
is
Gadget
bad?
Killer.
Okay.
Hag is not the worst one to do it. I think the worst person for range for me is hands down, Pyramid Head.
I don't know what he
Because
does.
I don't have him, otherwise I'd show you, but his range is insane because of his big fuck off sword.
And his big fuck off
overcompensating.
shoulders.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh.
hey,
That
do not speak ill of my husband. Thank you.
I'll do what I want.
You won't.
No.
Yeah. Well,
No.
Wait, oh, that way.
If you go to the door closest to the gen that just popped by Shack, there's a door there. Here, Lessie. Watch out. Nice killers. We'll just do that.
Okay, how do you do that? Like, what do you do to open the door as a
Face.
killer?
We just space.
Just space?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you could do that with space. I always thought that they were hitting it with an attack.
No,
is it
it's
so you
space.
can bait them?
Sometimes.
It's so that survivors can't hold the game hostage. So
I
what
see.
killers will typically do, especially when they're higher, like when they've played the game more,
Talk too much? Oh, okay.
what they'll do is they'll hook somebody and then open the door so it gives the rest of the survivors a countdown. So they can't just play around and get the save and then, like, while they're 99ing doors. Instead, the killer's already opened the door, and you're now on a time limit to get the hell out.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, so the perks I was running. Ruin. Retribution. So if you guys broke any of my totems, you'd be oblivious, and I would see all of you for 10 seconds.
Oh no. I was about to get that rune too.
Yeah. Devour Hope. Anytime somebody gets unhooked at least 24 meters away from me, I get a stack. What that does is when I get 5 tokens, it doesn't matter if you've been hooked or not. I can instantly kill you.
Oh my god.
And then Undying. When you're within 4 meters of any dull totem, your aura is revealed. And then, if you had cleansed any of my other hexes, Undying would become null and void, but my other hex would still be up.
You sound terrifying.
Very scary.
Hi, I play a lot of this game. I'd never want to see this build. I had somebody run that, but instead of Devour Hope, they ran Haunted Ground, so we popped Haunted Ground twice.
No.
Against a Deathslinger. It was pain. On Midwich, of all places.
Sounds terrifying. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, it would be even better with Blood Warden.
Fuck Blood Warden.
Yeah, because at that point you just knock somebody down at the gate, open it, and then hook, and then nobody else can escape for 60 seconds.
Oh man.
No.
It's dirty. You
who's
can
gonna
do
be
some
killer?
really dirty things.
Lessy, do you want to try killer?
No.
No? That's okay. I'll do it.
Okay.
And then I'll do it next. And then it'll be Leslie's turn.
Alright, I'm not good at killer, so don't stress.
Okay.
I also have no idea how to use this flashlight, so we're gonna see how this goes.
I think if you turn it on.
You know, fair point,
Ready?
fair point.
Ready? Shut.
Fair advice, though. To be fair.
That's what I'm here for.
I have powers. I can make you shut.
What?
Fuck, I don't even know what perks to run here.
I can
I never play killer.
I can make him shut. I have powers that I can abuse.
Cause you have mod. I got you. I see.
Yeah,
I pick
yeah,
it up. I
yeah,
pick it up what you got. Yeah.
Yeah. Tee.
T.
Tee.
E.T.
Fuck.
No.
I know there's no point in running any fucking hexes.
If it makes you feel better, I took off inner strength.
Not really. You'll still find them.
Are you mad that I know totem spawns?
No, not at all. I just know that there's no point.
Oh my gosh.
I see a spicy totem and if it glows, it goes. I don't know what else you want from me.
I'll be right
No, it
back. I'm
makes
gonna go grab a snack.
No problem.
Okay, no worries.
Dude, I
A good
apparently.
way-
Sorry.
Santy.
Oh.
Mommy?
Mommy.
Sorry. Mommy?
I apparently have like 207 hours in this game. And I still know nothing.
There's so much to learn though. There's so much. I know nothing.
Yeah.
I used to be fairly decent at the game, but quickly got very bad at it.
It's definitely a game that if you don't keep up with it, you won't know how to keep going with it.
Very true.
because like they're making a lot of big changes to killers. Like they're buffing Plague and Spirits getting a massive debuff.
I'd sub to you all, but I'm poor.
Thank you for following. Oh, thank you for following, Javi.
Got you.
I need to go
got
follow
you.
you.
Okay, you.
Back, what did I miss?
Chavi's following all of us. He's being a stalker.
What a stalker.
Yeah, right? How dare?
Cringe.
My bad.
Wait, following you where?
I'm sorry, don't tell the cops.
Wait, following you where? Hold on.
On Twitch. On Twitch.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and possibly to the bathroom. I don't know. Maybe.
Deny.
Hey Jess, if you run into me, please don't kill me. I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I won't.
Hit me if you can, Jess.
I can't. I suck.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi.
I don't know if I should spoil it or not. I'll DM you. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Secrets?
Yeah.
How dare?
Secrets?
It's because I don't want to put pressure on somebody.
Yeah?
I'm a good boy.
You're being who?
Press X for doubt. So good.
Yes.
You knew?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's nothing to do with any of you guys. Don't worry about it. It's another one of our friends. It's fine.
Oh.
And it's nothing bad.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Nice.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Bixby.
Yeah,
Bixby's like, that's good to hear.
Poor
None of your fucking business, Bixby, you nosy
Who the
fuck.
fuck do you think you are, girl?
Wow.
She just wanted to be involved. Celebrate
I
with
love,
people.
I love making her rap for me.
She raps?
Yeah.
Make her rap right now, Travi. Do it.
Hello, Bixby? How do you say it? How do you wake it up? Bixby, can you rap? Hey, Google, can you rap?
Hey, Bixby, rap for me.
You've put me on the spot, but I won't buffer. I'll try to spit fire like my name was Suffer. I like to rhyme, but I should stay in my lane and focus on the assisting game. My
I mean,
Shit. Watch out, Snoop.
musical poetry. It's not others hum tunes, but rapping is a happier avenue. Each word's potential is infinite.
she's got a beat and everything over there.
It started off with a record scratch. Like,
Why are we here?
What is this?
Why are we here?
I've
know.
never seen
I
this.
don't know. I don't want to be here either.
I've never seen this. What is this?
This is Raccoon City Police Department from Silent Hill.
From what?
shit.
Silent Hill, fucking Resident Evil. Fuck my life.
There's a
Shout
pride
out
flag on the
to
hood.
Gears of War.
Shout out to what? Why?
I don't know. You're just naming friggin' gaming
I'm just,
franchises.
yeah.
The wrong ones.
This is from
Halo?
the Barbie series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barbie
Barbie
and the
Adventure?
Nutcracker.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, fuck.
I hate you.
God
That's
damn
why
it.
the fuck
God
are you?
damn it. I love playing
like
Doctor,
cleanse
but
this stuff.
Jesus. God,
Any of this
I
movie
whiffed.
at all. Like, at all.
Where are all the pallets? Oh, there's one.
Wait, Jess, did you pick the hooks? Like what they look like?
I have the charms on them, yeah.
I love the charm. I'm really sad I didn't have the game when they had the charm.
You can still get Pride Charm. That's
You
that's
can?
Yeah, there's
Where?
no time limit on it. You can still get it.
Where? I need it now.
Well, when a mummy doctor and a daddy doctor love each other very much.
Are you running Tinkers?
Am I running what?
Oh, hey,
Are you
Jess.
running Tinkers?
Nah. Nah.
Hey, Jess.
Hello, motherfucker.
Hello?
Hello, motherfucker.
Hello, motherfucker.
So how do you get the pride charm? Is it code?
Motherfucker.
Literally just go into the shop and
How the
type in
fuck you hit
pride.
me, dude?
Because I have my arm is the height of the window. I can definitely hit you through the window.
Did I drop my mechanical box?
Are there
Oh.
generators on this map?
You're running Franklin? You're
No.
Franklin's?
God damn it!
Wait, what?
Clean peas?
And what? I honestly don't know what I picked. I picked Franklin's at the last second because I didn't want to keep everyone
Just a little trolley girl, a little try-hardy girl.
Oh no, I'm
real.
not. I'm not gonna get. I'm probably not gonna kill any of you. I don't think.
I'm so bad at this game. I
Run.
really
So am I. I suck.
God, can you not?
Chunt. I love you, but Chunt.
Wow.
Wow! Oh no! No!
Yeah, just keep going, keep going. No, okay. Never mind. Oh no! Fuck! That's not door!
I whiffed. It's fine. It's fine.
It's not fine!
What's that little electrical current?
Comes out of me. I think.
No,
Run.
let me get that man.
What do you want? What do you want? Oh, okay, bye.
Alex!
Jess, I love you. We could have talked about this.
That's a little toxic.
What? How am I toxic?
Toxic Jess. Oh my god, toxic Jess.
You're toxic.
Can I get a hashtag toxic Jess in the chat?
No.
No, Travi.
Yeah, wiggle, girl, wiggle.
Can we
There you
get a hashtag toxic Travi in the chat?
I'm coming in.
Alliteration. It works.
Don't worry, the hero's here.
Oh
go.
shit.
Okay, calm
It won't
down,
let me.
mate.
It won't let me get you until I do
can
this.
be
By the
your
way.
Yeah, you gotta
Hero,
remember that.
baby.
Oh shit.
I hate this.
Baby, she's nowhere near us.
What? Are you sure? Oh my god!
Positive.
It was a thingy! It was a thingy!
The hallucination thingy.
God damn
Gotcha.
it!
What up?
Alright, well, now she's there.
Save yourself. Oh,
Bye.
Messy, move! Run, Messy!
I left. It's fine.
I'm lagging. People are
I left.
teleporting to me.
I'll keep. Oh, shit.
Wait,
She
this
said we're
map is
fine.
scary.
We should
dude.
definitely
I
trust
ran
her
away.
100.
I literally am. Don't know where I am. I'm going somewhere. I
Yeah,
don't know.
good. Stay that way, huh?
Group healing set?
Okay, you've been getting a little bit spicy with me, Travis.
Little tumble walk.
How did I tunnel? I hit you.
Wait,
Trolling
wait.
Fucking little shit.
Trolley boy.
Pizza Hut with
Fuck
2
you,
B's?
shit.
What is this? What is this?
Yeah, I'm teleporting.
I'm so
like,
confused.
As in,
Messy, come here.
people are teleporting in front of me.
Why you pellet
Thank
me?
you for the follow?
Good, Eddie.
Question mark? I'm so
I'm trying to heal
confused.
her and she pellets me.
I saw a red glow on my back. I tossed the pallet.
You're gonna have to enter the captcha if you want to
Jess,
talk.
if you
There
see
you
the
go.
bald head, don't
That's
hit
to
me because
combat all the
you might
hate
hit
bots.
Messy and she might go down.
Thanks to Alex.
Told you. I told you, dude.
See ya.
Hold on, Jess. Go ahead
Wow,
and pick
stop
up
tunneling me,
No!
Jess. Stop
Yeah.
tunneling me, Jess. That's bannable.
How do you work this
See ya.
flashlight?
I'm leaving.
Yeah, good. You should.
Where is my flashlight?
Fuck. You
Jess,
and I are gonna have
Jess,
words. Yes, hello, darling.
Jess, will you come pick up Lessie? I want to save her.
Oh, sure. Give me a sec.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Oh, sure. Give me a sec.
How do I? Can I practice using my
She's still right
flashlight?
there. Now face me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Light bulb.
You're running Lightborn?
Oh wait, so
brat.
flashlights don't work? Wait, wait a second. So wait, my flashlight won't do anything to you.
I change up my build entirely.
I know. I'm sorry.
And you bring Lightborn?
I like
Oh my
Lightborn. It's
gosh.
handy. I figured you'd try and fuck with me.
Oh
so
my gosh.
God. Alright, well, I'm snapping out of it now.
I keep forgetting that I am muted.
No.
So
Why?
my flashlight doesn't do anything to you,
'Cause
correct?
I just saw you.
Correct.
All right, cool. Cool beans.
I haven't hooked
You know
any
what?
of you.
You smell like beef.
So is that
I do.
Pizza Hut, is that you? Is that
Delicious,
actually you?
tasty.
Take me
I'm
to Meat Mountain.
confusion.
Yep, I will right now. Here you go.
You smell
Call me Nicki Minaj because I'm twerking on you.
like a baka.
Good.
And a
and a
nigga.
You kind of smell like a baka.
I'm leaving.
And
I'm changing my graphics. to
I don't
the-
want it.
Okay, bye.
I don't want it. Shout out to Jon Snow.
Don't like it.
I'm
Well,
so
like a
lost. I feel like I'm just
badass.
running around endlessly. Oh hey.
Hola.
I'm too young to die.
I can still taunt you. Oh, there goes my flashlight. So Jess,
The flashlight.
I was meant to ask you about
Good
the
job.
time that you swallowed toothpaste.
I love that
my
clip.
fucking
I love that
God.
clip. I love that clip.
What's the name
I
of
love
the
that
guy?
clip. I clipped it and I loved it.
Travis! that was the name
Exclamation
of
mark,
the
look.
guy! Oh my god, I hate it here.
It's a good. Have you seen the clip, Santi?
No, I don't think
Don't
I
look at it.
have.
No, no, no. I need to send it to you. Oh, leave me alone.
Ah,
Please, chat.
I
Please,
hit the
please leave me
wrong
alone.
button. Oh, somebody who goes unnamed, it was said to ask you about said moment.
Was it Lessie?
No.
No.
Who
I'm
was it?
sorry.
It's okay.
It was
Jess, do
it
you
was
wanna hook me?
Alex.
Not at all.
You sure about that?
I'll give you a little poke though.
I would say I killed you pretty quickly last game. You sure you don't want to just put me right here?
No.
Right there?
If you insist, I mean, I was gonna let you just go. You guys are doing great, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How would you know? You said you're bad at being killer.
I am, but you guys, you got 3 gens done, even though I've been whacking you the whole time.
Whack me, mummy.
Travis, I swear to
me
God.
harder.
Mommy, sorry.
See, puppy.
Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
Mommy, sorry.
God damn it.
No, fuck off.
Wow, that's hurtful.
You smell like beef.
I do. I love beef. Thank you for noticing.
I smell like beef.
Smell like a baka.
It takes a lot of effort to smell this beefy, you know.
Oh my?
I just put like a shower, like a fucking stock cube in the shower head and just go at it, you know.
No, please leave me alone, Trent.
Oh, this is like the entire level. Oh my god, what the fuck?
Let's see.
I just trapped myself.
Yeah, you know what? You go.
Get trapped.
Hey, Para, what does the shock therapy thing actually do?
It makes you go insane.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It also slows us down, and while we're screaming, we can't
Oh, shit.
do actions. So, like, we can't pull pallets or anything like that.
Because you're
We're
busy
just
screaming
kinda-
and whatnot.
Yeah, we're just kind of fucked.
How about you don't?
Good job, Santi.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I did this gen
Yeah, I'm
already.
not good at killer, so I'm just a
Oh,
runner.
hydrate. Did I go? Okay.
You better.
No! No!
Where did I put my drink? That's my question.
No!
Santi, how many hooks are you on?
One.
Alright,
We
We
all
were
only
all
have
on
one.
one, yeah.
yeah, I thought so. I'm trying to not kill anyone, actually, so it's, you know.
Shoot me.
My drink has disappeared.
Show my
Did you
decorative
drink it?
Lights
of
on.
death.
Hey,
No, as
Charlie.
in I can't find it.
Oh,
Come here.
Oh, there.
Do
it's-
you
what are we
want?
doing? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, now I'm gonna snap out of it, and then I'm gonna touch you. If you'll let me, anyways.
Alexa.
I give consent. Everybody hear that?
To touching? Got it.
Thank you for your consent.
My mom gave me a permission slip.
I mean,
Alright, let's get this did.
You can. I'm gonna go get Santy.
Oh, okay. Save Santa or save Christmas?
Save Santa. Yeah, gotta go save Christmas. See you later.
Oh, the skill chest gets smaller and smaller the
Yes,
closer
they
to
sure
death
do.
you are. I don't know if I like that. Oh shit!
God.
Snapping out of it.
I hate how they come from the opposite direction sometimes now too.
I have
Yeah.
to find a way up to Lessie.
So Jess, when we have the red glowy light on us when you're not near us, can you see that?
Wait, what?
You have one of the like the
I have
perks.
to get. Thank you. I'm trying to get the Lessie.
You have one of those perks that sometimes
Leslie's
the
gonna
red
die
light
'cause
goes
I
on to
couldn't find
us,
a way up.
and like when you're not
Hang
near
on, I
us.
just got right. Hang on.
Okay.
fuck.
Lessie, I'm sorry.
Oh heck, I don't even see where Lessie is.
I died.
Hey, what's up?
Come.
Oh. Okay.
I got you.
Thank you.
Oh shit, I forgot to ask consent.
Well,
Oh, this is awkward. Listen. I'll turn myself in.
we are in a jail, right? Yeah?
Yeah? Oh
Yeah.
shit, I didn't
Wait.
see that there. I think there's a cell somewhere.
Yeah. Here, I'll go help you find them.
We gotta find the last. I don't even know where the last gen is.
There
I
should be
knew where
what,
it
3
was, and
gens?
then I got hooked.
Where?
I don't remember.
Wait, near you, where you were?
Maybe. I kind of ran,
Maybe.
and I don't remember which ways I ran.
Oh.
How's our chance? Cause just to get him raided. Oh, I found it.
Where are
hey.
you?
Yo, hey, how you doing?
Oh shit.
Wait, where are you at? Hold on.
Ma'am?
Oh
Yes,
my
darling.
god, man.
Ma'am.
Yeah. Do you wanna wiggle? You just. Was you on second hook? No.
No.
Yes.
I'm only on first.
It
I'll
was
be
All right. Well,
going in a
I'll just have
second.
you here then. I'll put you right here.
Oh, all right. Thanks.
See ya.
First, a lot
Is
like
she coming back?
Bye, babe.
Coming back where?
None of your business. Jess, please.
Where?
Jess,
Where
listen.
Yes, darling.
Yes. No,
You've been
Jess,
quite
don't
rude
be
to me
toxic.
today. You've been quite
I've
rude
been
to
a
me
lovely
today.
boy. I've been a lovely boy.
No, you
I'm leaving you.
haven't.
See ya.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Come
I
to
missed the
talk
skill
with you again.
There you go.
Thanks, baby.
No problem.
Thanks for coming to my stream.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I think
something
one of
wrong
you
with
guys
it
should
in
do the
the
gen.
show.
It's almost done.
All right. Here, Santy, I'm gonna go.
Oh, I got it. Don't worry. Thanks for coming
Then
to
she
my
has to make the choice anyway.
stream. Heck.
I'll lead her away.
Oh, there's a
Jokes?
hole.
Oh
my God!
You.
Dude! Alex?
Was there teleporting for me? That's great.
Alex? How
Front door, front
absolutely
door.
dare you?
Can't
My
hear
light
us.
turned off.
Harquin!
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, how you doing?
I can
How
hear
you doing, Horror?
Hi.
Hello.
I've just been sitting in the dark because I forgot I turned off all my lights. So just the one.
Bye. Oh.
Goodbye.
Thank you, baby. You want me to blood snail? I'll blood snail.
Yeah, off you go, blood snail.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. You two can blood snail out. See you later.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Mommy.
Bye. Have a beautiful time. Wait, why is Lessy dead?
You killed her.
Because
What are you
I couldn't
talking about?
find her in time.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
You
I was
doing
trying
good?
to find
How am I
the
doing?
stairwell,
This
and I
is besides
fucking
getting you
couldn't.
scared.
So she
I'm
died.
Ain't
right
glad
all
to
there.
hear
Jess's
you're
fault.
doing well. I'm doing alright. Life has just been hectic, but I've been doing
Forgive her that easy,
much
Lessy.
better.
Yeah,
Literally.
not you though.
Yeah.
Glad to hear
okay.
you're doing well. What have you been up to? Anything new going on
You
with
have to
you?
make it up to me.
I will let you live if I'm the killer. Wait, whose turn is it? Is it mine?
No.
Cool.
Your turn.
No.
Yeah, it's
Your
me.
turn.
No, not your turn.
Tab me in. Tab me in.
No.
Let's go.
Play Wraith.
Hmm. Who do I want
Nurse
to
is
be?
calling on Wraith?
I don't know who I want to be. Well, I've never played her. She sounds fun. Question.
Answer.
What's a good loadout?
Oh my god.
Cannot start with 2 killers, Travis.
I'm a killer. I'm a
Let
little
someone
killer
else
boy.
have a turn.
Haven't we cycled
Xander
through?
and Leslie have not been killer yet.
Okay. My bad. I didn't know if Leslie wanted to be the killer. That's why I was like, I nominate as tribute.
Oh my gosh, Horrorquin, I know.
Kill you first.
For the past like 2 or 3 months, I've barely had any time to like actually watch people. And it's kind of sad.
What's the key
But
do?
it's alright. It's alright.
Open
Power.
smash.
I
Yeah.
don't even. What's a good loadout for killers? I don't even know.
I'll always say barbecue ruin. At
Barbecue
least.
and chili, hex ruin. I like Lightborn because means you can't get blinded. But that's up to you, obviously. I knew Para was gonna do it. But there's definitely better ones than that.
Sloppy because it wastes survivor time. Takes them longer to heal.
Which medkit's better, Anniversary or All Hallows Eve?
Ranger.
Wait, can I get to the store from here? Or
Ranger?
would I have to leave first?
It's better than both of them.
Yeah.
Guess I'm gonna
Ooh,
have to
that's mean. Oh, that's mean.
In order to get to the store, yes, you have to leave customs to do it.
I'll do it later. Somebody remind me though to grab the pride flag. Oh, please.
Shit, where'd my phone go?
In your hand.
You're right. I found it.
Alright. Well, do I want that? I don't think I want that. Rancor's too mean, right?
Rancor from
Yeah.
Star Wars?
Bruh.
I don't
know
think
what
so.
any of that means, so...
Just say yes.
Yeah,
I think Rancor should be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh man. Items, man. I never play killer. This is so weird. Ooh. Ooh. I like that. I like that. Heck. I guess I'll just go with those two. I don't know what they do, but I'm gonna go with them.
Pog, pog,
Pog, pog.
pog, pog.
I know, it makes me feel a little bit bad
Just
too,
hung out by
Horrorquid,
Starbucks
but like,
balance is 69,
everybody has their
so-
own life and everybody knows that, right?
Nice.
Like, so it shouldn't feel bad.
My Starbucks.
For sure it shouldn't feel bad. Like, nobody's gonna be like, ah, you haven't been to my stream, where you at? Everyone's just excited to see you when you do come, you know?
So, I'm
Makes it
thinking
more
I'm about to
special,
light up
too.
this pumpkin pie candle.
Guess what? I got one too. Ha 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 ha.
That's adorable. Matching candles.
Duh.
No, it's because she taunts me with it. Because I couldn't get one when she got one. And now I have one, so nah 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 nah.
Adorable.
I'm not
I
adorable.
just
I'm
have
rugged
really
and
nice
handsome.
smelly goods. I've got Scentsy, and the smell that I currently have in is Silver Bells because it's so nice.
But did you also
Yeah.
get a cinnamon
Mondo?
spice?
Meow?
Travi?
No, I get that
Mondo?
around
What's
Christmas time.
Mondo doing here? Heck. Wait, what
Excuse
you
me.
doing?
Well, I was ahead of the game.
Disgusting.
What you doing?
Shut up, Travis.
Look,
You know why that got deleted.
I've done my best to mute almost every time I've had to burp.
Okay.
God,
Who's
I'm not here to burp
Travi?
shame you.
Let's see. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. What do I do?
So hey,
Wait, do I-
Santi, you're gonna be nice to me.
Wait,
right?
I don't even know how to play the character I'm playing. I just thought she looked cool.
She the nurse?
Plague? You're playing
Plague.
Vommy Mommy?
Mommy. Yeah, I actually have no idea what she's like to play. I don't have her.
I don't think I've ever played her.
Alright, I'll give you a tip because this took me like 5 minutes into a match to figure out. To puke on people, it's a hold and release. You don't have to press two
Bro.
separate buttons.
Fuck me, mate.
Oh.
Holy shit, dude! You're like the fucking Terminator. What the fuck?
Did you
I'm
just say
so glad-
fuck
Where'd you
me,
go?
mate? Is that what you just said?
Maybe.
Wait.
Have you
Leslie
ever
just-
seen someone bang down a door? It's so scary.
That
It
is
sounded
what I
like Leslie
was-
just said, fuck me, mate.
I did.
Ah! No, thank you.
Ew, Santi.
I don't want to be part of this.
Uh-oh, stinky.
Thanks, Mommy.
Did I get you with that?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was on the
God,
other
I
side
you not now.
I actually hate
Me too.
Are you guys pity pukers?
Been
I
dead.
can
And the
be,
picture
yeah.
he's staring
Yeah.
at me. Oh my god, right? That picture
Make
is
sure
so
to go
funny.
cleanse.
God.
How do I do that? Oh,
Like,
You
you
see
see
the
the
highlight
You
blue
know
and
what our
white?
day
things
today?
everywhere? That's what
Oh,
you
where'd you guys go? Where'd you guys go on a date at?
highlighted white things. Oh, I just washed my hands.
Yes, that's cleansing.
That's basically
Okay,
it.
okay.
I don't
Why
know
are
what I'm
people teleporting
doing.
me? Please stop. Hello.
Get away from me.
She's got a power.
Hey, how do you
What?
know
Do you
that?
need to be healed?
No.
Oh,
I thought you just wanted to look at my butt.
How do you
which is
know when
fair.
I get my
Leon
power?
is pretty sexy.
We hear
Oh,
the
yeah,
ding when you
Leon.
get the cursed vial.
She's coming.
Oh.
Well, that's knowledge I didn't require, Travis. I got to tell you.
And I need to be told.
I can be your hero.
Double
Where
entendre.
are you guys? Holy.
In your endo.
Wait a minute.
In
Who
your
are
Where are
you?
you?
Where are you?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Shout out to the rats in the background.
Oh,
Wow,
fuck
way to
me.
dox
I'm
us.
so bad at this.
Ah,
Well, good thing
Thought
I
they
know
ordered me
how
a
to get
pizza.
upstairs. Oorah.
Rat jam, rat jam.
Wait, is
hoorah.
Oh, yeah, it's not stairs. How the hell did I get up there?
Well done, Jess. Well done.
Huh?
I'll give you a pat on the back. Oh, shit.
Oh, were you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, sorry. You suck.
Heck.
See, that's what I'm used to from you, you know?
Paladin, Paladin.
Did I get you?
No.
Did I get you?
No.
Bukake.
Damn it.
Not cocky, it's fucking... What?
Bukake.
Fuckcake. Yes.
I just want to puke on you.
Bye,
Come
Felicia.
here.
Why?
Come here.
Why? Why?
I got him. I got,
You got
him.
Did you chuck on him?
I did. What happens if I do it again?
Jackie, you did?
What happens if
Oh,
I
I'm
do
a
it
box.
again?
I'm a box.
I didn't know I could down you with that. What the hell?
Yeah, when,
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
when you have the cursed vial, you do damage instead of make people sick.
Oh, good to know.
Thank you.
Good to
That's what
know.
Come on me more. No, come back.
Yeah, yeah,
Your
okay,
vom turns into
Wait, let me. Oh,
like
yeah.
There
a
you
red,
go.
painful spew.
okay.
God damn.
Oh, poor Travi.
Oh, so Lessie, when you take people off, when you take people off of the hook that are sick, you get the sick.
Only if they're fully contagious.
Am I fully contagious? I'll let you
No.
know.
You're not.
Pick me up. You got this.
You found my hex? Is that what that was?
That was ruin, yeah.
Come.
Damn, I don't even know what that does anymore. I forget.
Whenever we get off a generator, it'll make it
You
automatically
went
regress,
to-
so you don't
wait,
have to
you
kick
are-
them.
What? Oh, you went to see Halloween Kills. Wait, what's that?
Watch
Is
yourself.
that
I'm
is that a new
recovering like a
movie?
little bitch.
Is that a
'Cause
new
you see
movie?
it. Travi, where'd you go?
You're a little sicky boy.
Travi,
It was
come
yeah.
here.
What does that
Come
mean?
hither.
We're
And
not
I gotta
good.
heal myself. Oh my god.
Hi.
No.
There's one up here.
By the way, I was not planning to find you again.
Okay, Travi, come just let you do what you're doing.
Okay.
Oh hey.
Ow!
I can see how this could be
Man, that
fun.
is not nice.
I think it's the
Jess.
I'm
nicest
so
gift
sick.
though.
I'm a little
You don't want my
sicky boy.
gift?
Pretty.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing. I've been doing squats.
Alright, now I'm
Okay,
contagious
see?
because I vomited.
I can tell.
I'm drinking
Yeah,
the poop
yeah.
water to heal myself.
You see the benefits of this?
I mean,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it's quite dark, but yes.
Wow. Okay. See you later.
Well, that slows me down considerably.
Unfucking real.
No, I mean,
I don't even know. Oh, there you are.
Insulting my butt
Come
like
here.
that.
no, it's a great butt.
Well, not in the dark.
Ma'am.
Look, I just can't see it.
Take my
It's my
take
dream
my
to have a good
stuff,
butt even in the dark, you know?
my gift to you.
I just can't see it, but I can feel it.
We're getting spicy. We're getting spicy in this meat plant. Meat mountain.
Where'd you go?
Hello.
Hashtag take. Oh.
Where'd you
hey,
go?
Sicky. Sicky.
Yo.
Is she behind us?
Did you
She
just
sure
call
was.
Parasite?
Well, I am.
That's really cute.
Hey.
Oh, damn it.
What's up?
No.
Don't worry, I just want to talk. Wait, I can see you now? Nice. Nice, nice. Also,
Fair enough.
I swear I'm not trying to,
A Nazi
go
mannequin.
after just
Ma'am.
you, I promise. I just need to talk for a hot
Straight up got the
second.
fucking little salute going on and stuff. It's gross.
I'm sick.
Ma'am.
But I'm
Yes,
good.
take
We're
my
good. I just
gift.
need- Nope.
I cornered myself.
Oh no!
Shit. We just gotta hope Jess is actually working on the gen.
Oh, there's a
A what?
hook right here.
Look at that now. I'll get sick.
Wait, what's that countdown?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
Nah,
what's the
she's
countdown?
serious.
Oh man.
Oh, I vomited.
Oh man.
I'm a little vomit. Oh, don't touch me. I'm vomiting. I'm sick. Oh, yeah, I'm sick again. How do I,
Fucking insurance.
I need a
I
nurse.
swear
I
to
need a
God. Oh,
nurse.
there you are. No, I swear to God, I
Yeah.
saw you.
I just had to get sick myself to get out of a room.
If you vomit, does that count as a hit?
Hate
I
you.
don't think so. I can
What
see
happens
you.
is when you're fully sick, you become broken, so you
Fully
can't
sick,
be
bruh.
healed. And then
Oh,
once you
fuck
cleanse, it also
me.
heals you.
Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Come here, Lessie. It's your turn.
Can somebody come get me?
Somebody come get her. She dancing,
She's dancing like a stripper.
Oh my
Don't
god.
worry, don't worry. I'm
Bye,
not going
Felicia.
after you.
Have you ever seen the cat pole dancing to that song?
I'm probably up. You gone up?
Oh, wait, is this not Lessie? Oh, this isn't Lessie. This is Jess. No.
Shit.
It's your turn. It's your turn. Don't worry. I don't know where I'm going. I should just gone out the other way. Oh no, they can't go that way. Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
Have we done all the gens upstairs?
Oh, so you're upstairs. Got it.
I think there's one more
got
up there.
it. I did hear
Is there?
somebody drop down
I was
though.
looking. I was working on one down here. So.
Hey.
So.
Wait, you haven't been
Why'd
hooked.
you puke on
You
me
haven't been
again?
hooked. Come here.
I hate you. I don't hate you. I hate the character, not you. Fucking hell, Jess. Please stop. Please.
What? That's not
Don't.
Jess. That's me.
Mommy. Sorry. Mommy. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Mommy, sorry.
Have some puke.
Oh, it's
Did
Jess
she just
the
vomit on
killer.
you?
It's the killer.
Oh my god, I keep forgetting I've been muted this whole time.
Oh my god.
Ah.
I forgot. Oh, I forgot to wiggle. Fuck me. No.
Got you, don't worry. Don't worry. Who's over here? Puking in my bath, huh?
Puking in my bath.
Don't
Oh,
puke in
God.
my bath.
That's unlocked a new fear for me. Imagine having a lovely bath and you just what?
Let's see, stay still.
Like, do you just restart all over again, or do you just say fuck it and
still,
take a
don't move.
shower?
I take a shower
Sorry,
at that point.
I'm lagging.
Yeah.
I think.
That's bath's a lost cause, you know.
All 4 of you have been hooked, right?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wait, who said no? Or who
Oh,
who
Charlie,
is
he
not?
hasn't been hooked.
He has been hooked. He's lying. Why are you lying about that, you weirdo?
Is there anybody who is on a second hook?
No. So you're free to do us all again. If
All
you know what I
right.
mean.
I got you. I'm
You
gonna
don't
do
have my
it.
consent. You don't have my
I'm gonna do
consent. You
it.
don't have my...
I'm gonna do it. Actually, unless I'll leave you alone. You just got off the hook. I'm sorry. Is that Lessie? That's not Lessie.
Oh my god.
You Travis.
Oh my god.
You were both right there. I cry.
Well, that's
Come
cool
here.
TV.
Come here. Come here.
No, I
I
don't
got
want
one.
it.
Got one hit.
We're good. We're good.
Tara. Where'd you
No.
go? I completely lost you. Oh, you're right there.
Para is the knight.
Wait, you. Gotcha.
Oh.
On me.
that was a good one. That was good.
The vomity boy.
Little vommy boy.
All right. Where'd you, Travi? Where'd you go? I thought I could see you.
You thought wrong.
Wait, some. Oh, hey.
Oh, oh.
Come here, Travi. Come
Wait,
here,
that's
Travi.
Why?
How come we can't do the
Come here,
doors?
Travi.
Why bring her back here?
It wasn't me. I'm here.
Don't worry, Justin. I'm going straight for
We'll swap.
Travi.
We'll swap. We'll swap. It's
You
here.
know who's playing as Travi? Oh, there he is. Okay, good.
I got it.
You were
I
running
took
at
the
my
hit.
face.
I took the hit. I took the hit. I took the hit. We're good.
I can be your hero, baby.
Wait, I don't know where you went anymore. I'm lost.
Little tricky boy.
Santy, why are you running a no way out?
That's toxic, Santy.
Don't worry about
How do we get out?
We're gonna wait.
Don't worry
what?
about it.
We're not getting out of here.
How long do we have to wait?
I have a gate at
12
75,
years.
90, 99, single van.
Come here, Travi. Wait, are you Travi? You're not Travi.
No.
No, that's me.
Where did Travi
No, that's me.
go?
That's me. No, it's me.
Don't listen to him. He's a liar.
Wait, I hear you. Oh shit.
Oh fuck me. No.
That's me.
Travis,
Maybe
I
she has
swear
just
to
muted.
God.
Should we pull this?
Not until everybody else is there.
Oh, you haven't pulled it yet? Good.
In my mouth. In my mouth.
See ya.
There you go.
It just bounced off my bald head.
Bruh. Come here, Travi.
Can you hear me?
Sicky.
Wait, that's not Travi. Where'd you go?
Oh, that's me again.
Yeah, come here.
That's me. She's probably got us muted.
What? I don't have you muted.
That's Jess.
What?
Oh shit! Run!
Yeah.
Everybody!
That was so good. You know, I actually like this killer, kinda.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
She's about to get buffed.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing to her?
Why?
All right, they're both 99'd. Para.
What are they gonna do to her?
Well, Jess, I'm kind of on the ground.
Fuck me. All right.
I'm kind of.
Have you been second hooked yet, Para?
Getting spied.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah, this is Death Hook for her.
Okay.
I'll come get her. I'll come get her.
Okay.
Somebody come
I
here.
have a gift for you. There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh god. I love it. It's just so hot here. I'm gonna.
Hello,
Give me your
here's
ankles.
your
I want to
vibe.
eat them.
Kind of jealous.
I
I'm
wanna
kind
eat
of
the
jealous.
ankles.
Oh my god, please.
I just thought you guys might want some more puke.
Goodbye. I'm out. I'm done with this vomit. See you later.
Have some more puke.
That's so gross.
You.
What? What's up?
You. I love you.
Love you too.
I love you.
Love you too.
Hey.
Said
Hey.
you did great. You did great, considering you haven't
Guys, can-
played her before.
Scary.
Can you guide me to this exit?
I'm gonna blood snail away. Don't
Me,
mind
I'm
me.
gone.
Have fun.
There's
Oh,
an exit.
Travi's alive. Travi's alive. Come here, Travi.
That's 99. You're good. Just hit that for a second and go.
Travi.
My butthole's so clenched.
Hit that for a second
Ain't
and
no-
go is probably the worst thing I've ever said.
It ain't
First
quitting, baby.
It's all that takes. It's all it takes.
Oh my god.
I hate it here.
I just had a bot come into chat saying, go to this website to become Twitch affiliate. I'm like, dude, I'm
yeah,
already
Ship has sailed,
I'm
friend.
already
But
affiliate.
thanks for the concern.
That happened a year ago, my dude.
Yeah, literally. You just had your year anniversary thing, didn't you? What a dum dum.
What dumb cunt?
What a dumb cat.
What dumb cunt? Where do we buy more followers?
How much are followers? That's what I want to know. Like, how much do they cost?
How much you willing to spend?
Let's see, do you want to be killer?
$3.50.
I'll revoke mine. You can pay me, and then I'll follow back.
Go fuck yourself, Travis.
How do I
I'm
click that movie
priceless
killer?
to you,
Show me
so
the money.
don't even start.
Don't-
See the
Money, money.
eyeball in the bottom left?
Uh.
Hit it again.
Leslie killer?
And then you hit it again for the skull, and then you're the killer.
Okay. Ew. Ew.
Wait, how do I become not killer? Oh, there we go. Wait. Wait, there we
I'm
go.
just gonna take a really quick 5 minutes, but while you guys you know, do perky stuff, I'll get out of your way.
Perky
but
stuff, huh?
if feel free to start, but just please don't murder Leon if he's standing still, because it means I'm not back.
I just won't ready.
Switching to Leon.
Shut up! Alright, I'm deafening so you guys can do your thing.
Wait.
It's just old age, Jess.
Oh, as a little ghost. Aw.
So it doesn't unlock all the costumes.
No, you have to buy those, unfortunately. That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, oh well.
So I had somebody come in the chat, right? Their name is Pizza Hub with 2 B's.
Ooh.
Did he make an alt?
At least I know it's not Weeby, because Weeby is now Saltman.
And he's speedrunning, so I doubt he would have.
Well, Weeby, I have his nickname set. Pizza Thief. I know Pizza Hub is streaming right now, but the account was created 2 hours ago, and it happened after he did a lurk in my chat. So, I think it's Pizza Hub's alt. I think this might be the last one for me, unless we do a regular game. But probably should be the last one. It could be Saltman because it's. Oh, I didn't know he had an alt for Sudden Beth called Sudden Meth. Oh my god, that is fantastic.
I'm watching him speedrun right now.
What the hell? Did it get banned because it says meth in his name? Like, 1, that's hilarious. 2, stupid of Twitch. But 3, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
We have a brand new
Laser Tate. Oh my god, I love that.
Thank you so
If that's how you mean it to be, that's amazing. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Oh man. Wait, you're not streaming right now, are you, Travi?
No, I'll probably go on in about an hour-ish.
Alright. What are you gonna play?
Dying Light. Me and a friend collab streaming a Dying Light playthrough.
That's amazing.
I just woke up part 2.
It's exciting. I think this is my second affiliate stream.
Gamer just woke up. Gamer just woke up.
Thanks for coming to my stream.
How are you doing?
I don't know what to put on.
How was your nap? Nap? So what's Dying Light about?
Zombies.
Oh, wait, what do you do?
And parkour. So you
Yo, what's going on, chat? How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you're all doing well, baby. Let's fucking go. Let's get some yeses in the chat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and you loot like parts and make weapons. Sort of like what's that other one? Where you're trapped in a mall with Frank.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. Oh man, it is how you say your name, Laser Tate. I love it. We're just waiting on one of our friends to get back right now. Tate's trying to talk into Sound Spammer. That's fine. I don't care. Sound spam me all you want.
Oh, Dead Rising. That's the game.
I don't know what that is either.
Yes.
Yes.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Yeah, exactly. Smile and nod and wave. Oh my god! Alex, thank you for the bits. I was confused for like 3 seconds. What?
You just fart.
Alex with the sound
sure.
alerts, bruh. Oh my god. Anyways, Lessy, do you know how to set up for a killer?
Absolutely not. I'm just clicking things and saying let's
Alright.
go.
Well, I mean, that's good too. That's good too. I don't know how to set for killer. That's all Para's expertise there. Yeah. Click on things. Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
The only reason I know how to do anything as killer is because I play way too much Survivor.
A likely story.
Big
I
Toxic
really
killer in
don't
his spare
touch
time.
killer often.
Toxic killer in his spare time. It's all good.
Says Travi, the toxic killer of the night.
That's my first game.
Para,
I'm only
Lessy,
toxic when I have
just
reason to
Travi.
be.
Yes, that's it.
I'm just.
Oh, I
I'm a little
forgot to
troll
add
boy.
Travi's
24/7.
name to the title when they joined.
In
I was
one
gonna
game
do
that I got super
that, and
toxic in as
then
killer,
I completely forgot.
there was a Leon that decided to
Heck.
teabag me because
But
he
yeah,
he made me
Para,
whiff on him a
Lessy,
few times.
Justin, Travi.
So I made sure he got to watch me kill every single last one of his friends.
Oh, oh
And
man.
then when he thought he was about to get hatched, I closed it in his face, knocked him down because I was playing pig,
Spat on
and
him.
then growled at him continuously.
Nice.
So he was sitting there wiggling, going, no, no, and then I hooked him, and then I continued to growl at him while he was on hook and dying.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's actually amazing.
After he was like, you didn't have to be such a bitch about it, and I was like, dude, you reap what you sow. Don't be an ass and not expect to get an asshole back.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Alright. Those are the links to our friends who are playing with us, and then we also have
Sure.
Travi as
Do you
well.
want an easy beginners build?
Oh, thank you for that hover.
I'm just saying,
Only
fuck it,
Sadie.
let's go.
You didn't make that a command yet?
Okay.
You didn't make that a command
Honestly.
yet? Holy. I'm surprised. Heckin' surprised.
I forgot they added Ghost Face. I just watched
God
stream
damn it.
tonight.
God damn it.
Nobody watched it with me. But I just watched it tonight.
Was it good?
It's always good.
Nice.
Stream.
Only sanity. Bruh. Playing this game, I don't have any sanity.
Speaking of not having any sanity, I really want to play fast.
Probably not tonight, but at some point. Oh, Lessy. My Udi should get here on Wednesday.
Nice, nice.
When are you getting yours?
Monday.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Oh my god.
Exclamation point in the chat. No one's in my chat, but
I'm in the chat.
yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Exclamation point Uddy, Travi.
Oh, you already have your command and everything?
Yeah.
No way, no way.
Yeah, it has a little Lessy Kiss at the end.
Actually in my hoodie right now too.
Hello.
Welcome back. Oh yeah, gamer.
Shut the up, Travi.
Shut the up.
Alex
Jess,
made that
after
domain.
this, are you
He
playing
buys
fast?
random domains for some reason. It makes him the
By any
funny
chance?
thing. You said you
Fuck,
had
am I
one
doing
for
something?
Lena, right?
I know you had
I've-
mentioned about playing this and then maybe a
Alan!
different game afterwards.
What the heck, Alan?
Yes, then yes.
You're just in time
You were waiting
for
for me that whole
potentially
time.
our last
Yeah, good one, Travis.
game.
Unbelievable.
Jabrash, welcome.
Hey, wait, Daddy Frost is in the
Kaiwa, welcome.
Stop talking.
Alan,
Don't call him Daddy
welcome.
Frost.
Hold on.
Is Daddy Yellow in chat?
Thank you for the follow. Let's see who followed.
Daddy is humble to a lot of
Jabrash,
people,
thank you
to
for
be
the
honest.
follow.
No, I know.
Everyone, hello.
I said that purely because of the email.
You were playing Mario Kart 8? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
How was your stream? How was your stream? Everyone, thank you so much for the follow. Did you guys have fun with Mario Kart? I'm assuming y'all are playing, right? Playing with together? Or is it just you playing, Alan? It was good. Races were wild? Dude, what happened in them? What made them wild?
To chat.
Did you have a lot of close calls and some clutches?
The intro things.
Oh, Jess, I like
Yeah,
that
did you
laugh. That was a
win
wheeze and a half.
Shut up.
Did you win any?
No.
We are currently playing with
Oh, I gotta find the Jess clip.
Travi.
What Jess?
And
Oh, no, you don't. No, you
also-
don't. You absolutely do not.
Yes, I do.
all of these
absolutely
people.
do. I
I really go
have
check them
a
out.
computer.
I think Trappy's the
Yes,
one
I
that's
do.
not currently streaming it with us.
How
But those
did
are all the
there-
people that we are playing with right now. Losing because of blue shells? No! Oh no! Yeah, I'm gonna shout you out again, Alan.
United and it feels so
Maybe.
good.
Maybe. There you go. When are we playing this? Dude, Alan,
Reunited.
literally anytime. Hit me up whenever you want to.
Something.
Let me
Yeah, I just
know
wanted to check
Who
out.
are you?
when you want to.
And the people
And I'm
butt?
hella
Grace?
down.
I think.
I don't know. I got it off Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
Let's
Wow, you don't even know the
so right
song?
click, you'll
Where?
press and hold. It's how you
Where?
cloak
Oh,
and
no, Backstreet
uncloak.
Boys?
You start out cloaked.
where?
While you're cloaked, we can't hear you.
I don't
Like we
know
can't hear your terror
where any of my
radius.
shit
Yeah.
is.
I'll leave her away.
But we
Oh
can
my god.
see like glimpses of you while you're cloaked.
Right now we're
It's
just
like
playing
a
some
shimmer
classes.
almost.
Shimmer, yeah.
Very hard to detect if you don't know what you're looking
So
for.
we're teaching Lessie how to play games. Well, how to play Dead by Daylight rather. So we did 4 games as the survivors, and then 1 game as the killer each. And then I think this might be our last one for the night. So you came in just the perfect time, like right at the beginning of possibly our last one.
No! No!
Heck. Oh no.
Must
no.
please.
rub his
Leslie, please.
finger
Did I not
along
bring an
the
item?
blade after hitting somebody.
It's
I don't know
creepy,
if I
right?
brought an item.
They all do
Oh,
like a
no.
little creepy thing after they get a hit in.
Oh no, I did. I brought a flashlight. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Same.
because they're murderers.
Oh.
Maybe I can figure out how to use the flashlight. You know.
We'll tag team this stream.
Hey! What's up?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien.
Wiper, no swiping.
No. Wait, I want to be able to blind you.
Me?
Yeah. Here. Look,
Ooh,
I got the spook.
alright.
I got the spook. The little
You
ghosty.
got the poop?
Oh, look at the van. Ghost.
She's coming. She's right there.
Ghost. Spook.
Wait, go again?
Ghost.
That's my back.
Ghost.
Oh my god. Ooh,
It's spooky, right?
this is spoopy ghost.
I have successfully wasted half of my flashlight.
Nice. Worth.
Worth. Wait, this has already been done? That's already been done. Hey, what's up?
Oh, there's Jess.
No, what? Don't dox me.
Bruh.
No.
42 Wallaby
private.
Way, Sydney.
Wow.
Good dog.
Wow.
Wow, unfucking believable.
There's a legendary medkit right here if anybody wants it.
Did you drop yours?
I know if it's a... No, there's another one. I pulled it out.
Oh.
Stop pulling things out, please, Travis. It's inappropriate.
I never pull out. Hashtag.
Oh my god!
God!
What the? Travi, you know
Yawn!
this is two
Exclamation point
first-
look.
This is 2 people's first time interacting with you, and that is what
Hi,
you
I'm
choose to
Travi.
say. Hi, I'm Travi, and I'm fucking.
I understand if you never want to talk to me ever again.
Yep.
No, this
I
is
thought you were
prime
behaving
entertainment.
yourself.
So did I. I thought
Sorry.
he'll be on good behavior.
This is
No,
prime
Leslie,
entertainment.
Leslie, ow!
Oh, what are you talking about? I'm talking about splinters. I always leave them in. Nice save. Nah.
Yeah, nice.
How'd you do that? What is that a perk?
Wait, what'd she do?
She just like barreled straight through the fucking pallet.
Uh,
Like I still stunned her, but she barreled
Occasionally,
straight through it.
when Yeah, when you stun her
Oh,
with a
hello.
pallet, she'll just automatically break it.
Yeah, that's very cool. I didn't know that existed.
Is that the
I
one?
think it's
Are
a
you gonna
Freddy
cloak?
perk.
I think it's the one that you have to break 2 pallets before
See
it
how fast you go?
activates.
Yeah, it is.
Gotcha.
It's sick.
Jess, Honey
LaRose!
says hi.
You're here to harass and jump scare me?
I didn't
Honey,
say hi.
fucking love you.
Do it. Do it. Bet.
Okay.
Bet.
Holy shit, you're like a football man, dude.
A football man. What is that?
Yeah, she just came at me like she's like out of nowhere. I didn't get any indication. And then she's just like surprise. It's like okay.
Surprise,
Don't-
motherfucker.
Don't fat shame me.
Wait, where are you?
Meat pies, motherfucker.
Where'd you go, Chud?
I'm my little
Huzzah!
party boy.
Where'd you go? I want to know.
I wanna know if you'll be my boy. I'm over here.
Where's over here?
Come, listen for the whistles.
Follow
yes.
the sound of my voice.
Oh yes, over
La, la,
here.
la,
got
la.
it. Got it.
I can see you.
You kind of
Larius, how you fucking been, dude?
Not the fuck up, Jen. I hate it.
Eden Yeager.
Oh, my mic didn't pick it up for Discord. Sad. Discord still hates my voice even with the new mic. Understood.
For me, I had to turn down the sensitivity or turn up the sensitivity. I don't know. There's like a bar. If you mess with that little bar and like watch your voice, like make sure the bar goes above where your voice is. I had issues with that too. I know it's really cheap, but I made it cheaper because I wanted people to use them more. So like the shorter voice ones, like the shorter community videos, those are cheaper than the longer ones. HB, hello! Eren Yeager.
This is scary.
You say it's scary as the killer.
Bruh.
Yeah.
How are you scared?
No!
AGB, how you doing?
What's with your voice then, Jess?
You almost spelled it right.
mind.
The A,
Look, I'm
just
going
gotta
through
move
puberty.
it to
Don't
the
ask me
second
questions.
spot.
I will not ask you questions.
Thank you.
I hear Lessie. Where is Lessie? I hear the Lessie. Where is the Lessie? Hey, Lessie.
I think I.
No! Do you have that light perk?
Yeah.
God damn it!
That's the only one that I intentionally put on.
I just wanted to learn how to use a flashlight, damn it!
Alright, one of the escapes is 99.
Dude, I swear they've buffed like through window hits. I swear to God. Never used to be able to pick me or to hit me from that. Bruh.
Where is everyone? Can someone find me and heal me?
That is, I
was
think,
right
how
near
they
you and
spell
you
it in
fucking ran off.
Japanese,
I
but
didn't see you. Say,
is
Travis,
he German?
come here. No, oh yeah. There
Or
you
is he
go.
Japanese? I don't know. I've always seen it spelled J. J-A.
Where are you?
But I don't know. Why am I doing
I'm
that?
very busy and important. I don't possibly. Actually, never mind.
Hi, baby.
But I think that's how they spell it in like Japanese, though.
I'm gonna open the door because like no one's healing me.
So technically,
I'm gonna
both
open
are
this door
correct.
because I'm broken and I'm getting out.
Ah. You've always seen it with J2,
Yes,
but you
how
always
close
thought
are
it
you
was
to a door?
Y? Oh,
close.
gotcha. Yeah.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
I'm pretty sure that's what
coming.
the difference
Shut up!
is.
Shut up!
Pretty sure that's the difference. Is like one way is the like
Holy shit,
traditional
someone got
Japanese,
deleted?
traditional like
Sent to
German
the
way of
shadow
saying it,
realm.
and then the other way is how the
Match
Japanese
result,
spell
brutal
it.
killers.
I
Someone just
think.
asked me
Don't
if I
quote
wanted
me
to
on
put
that.
their
Don't
balls in
actually
my
quote me on
face.
that. That might not be that.
I'll accept
But I
that
think
offer.
that's what it
There
is.
you go. So they should have asked you.
Slide in, boy.
You probably watched Attack on Titan. It was painful to
Sorry,
get into,
that
so
was,
you
like,
did it.
so-
Heck. I haven't watched it either. I think that was my last game, at least for stream, anyways.
Yeah, no worries.
So, yeah. Do you guys plan to continue playing it?
probably switching. I'll do a little switcheroo to a bit of Phasmo, I reckon.
Alright.
And I'm off.
Alright. Thanks for playing, guys.
Thank
Finally,
you for
we get
inviting me.
rid
Thank
of
you for
him.
having me. I had a fucking blast with you guys. Let's do it
Of
again.
course.
Playing
Yes,
PJ.
for
Yes,
sure.
thank you guys for accepting me for who I am.
Okay, shut
Yeah,
up.
we'll
Oh
see.
man.
Oh, I've gotten like
I
20
love
DMs,
these
Travis. They
game
can't
nights.
stand you.
Hmm.
I'm
Alright.
kidding. I love you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Mhm.
Are you announced?
friends.
Have a good night.
I'm in your
Bye.
chat. Okay, I'm
Appreciate
supposed to
you.
tell you. Wait, Santi, I'm
What?
supposed
Yes.
to tell you that LaRousse is now in my chat.
Oh, okay, no problem. Hi,
Okay.
Lars. Heck. Okay, anyways, bye guys.
Bye, Felicia.
Have a good night. Did Lessie win though? No. Well, I don't think Lessie killed any of us actually. She did manage to hook some of us. But hi, Bort, how are you doing? How is Bort doing? Let's see who's on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, we get to raid this person? We finally get to raid this person? Oh my god. If it'll ever load, there it goes. Okay guys. We are gonna go raid the person who was my very first viewer on Twitch and is now a IRL friend. I actually am a bot. I'm actually a bot. There we go. So copy that raid message. You can if you don't have a sub, you can take my emote and switch it out for one of yours or one that you like from somebody else. But yeah, let's go show him some love. And thank you guys so much for everything today. Thank you for all the gifts, for the raids, the hosts, for watching, for lurking, for chatting. Y'all are amazing. And I will see you all next week for, fingers crossed, some more Last of Us. So yeah, have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Go show them lots of love.